What up? What up? What up? Strictly Podcast, man. I'm Randy Little. Hit my hand on the table like a fucking fool. This is episode 98, and I'm still hitting my hand on the table. It's Halloween, depending on when this publishes. So, I'm cliche. It's October. We doing a horror themed episode. The squad, Eric, Nick, Rocket, slashers. I tried to get some underrated joints in. We all brought up what we're into. I tried to bring up some bad movies. I tried to cover the whole spectrum of the genre. My favorite horror genre. Period. And it's fun conversation. Like, I feel like, I don't know how y'all feel around the world. I feel like every conversation on this podcast is fun. I catch myself just observing more than, like, as a fan, as a listener, like y'all, more than steering the conversation. But yeah, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Leprechaun, Candyman, Scream. Like, I try to bring up all of it. Friday the 13th. Recently, in the theater, we got the weekend of the 21st. We had Ticket in Paradise. We had Black Adam. And didn't the new Paul Feig, Charlize Theron movie pop up on Netflix recently? I feel like it did. I forgot about it. I didn't watch it. I don't know. It's just, I just have no interest. Like his filmography, I just have no interest. And then this past weekend, that, like, Cornball should have been released in January, Pray for the Devil bullshit came out. Wendell and Wild is also on Netflix. And where we at? Physical media releases over the past couple weeks. Bullet Train came out. Man, this Tuesday was so expensive. Bullet Train came out. Bodies came out. Ray Liotta starring No Escape came out. Fall, Orphan First Kill, Batman and Superman Battle of the Super Sons, The Flash Season 8. All of that came out. Rumble, Paws of Fury from Paramount came out. Legends of Tomorrow, the complete series came out. This past Tuesday, Nope from Jordan Peele is, like, the main significant release. And then Titans from HBO Max, DC Titans came out. Upcoming, Breaking, John Boyega just came out. I completely forgot the upcoming theatrical releases. So this upcoming Tuesday, I want to say this upcoming Friday, this upcoming weekend, Armageddon Time is getting some sort of release. I don't know how limited it's going to be. And then the weekend of the next episode, Black Panther Wakanda Forever comes out. Veterans Day, November 11th. And upcoming physical releases. This upcoming Tuesday, I can tell y'all without even looking. Top Gun Maverick comes out. Even though Blu-ray.com has it for a Monday release. It's not weird. I won't front though. I'll still get it on Tuesday, because also Save Your Soul, Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul also comes out. So I would like to grab those both at the same time. And just, like, I don't consider Thursday night theatrical releases as real, even though they are. Anything other than a Friday, anything other than a Tuesday Blu-ray release is just unnatural to me. Young Rock Season 2 also comes out this upcoming Tuesday. The Tuesday before the next episode looks like a Saturday Night Fever 4K, a Casablanca 4K, an 8 Mile 4K, Power of the Dog Criterion, Frasier the complete series. That looks like a pickup for me. I see a release for Pearl, but I thought that was the following Tuesday, the 15th. But Yeah, I mean, other than that Fraser, I really don't see myself buying much else that day, which is cool because that Fraser's gonna run like 130. Yellowstone box set. So yeah, I'll be back. Squad. Like I said, fun slasher discussion. Give the pod a like if you want YouTube, a dislike, however you feel. A rating, a review, like it's all love, it's all appreciated, all feedback helps, man. Reckley Podcast. All right, welcome back. Original four. Eric looking a little blurry. Rocket slowly moving in.
Mm-hmm.
Nicholas.
Hi.
There was some kind of news within the last 2 weeks, right?
Oh yeah. No.
I don't know if it was anything super or anything like that. So spoilers for Black Adam. Henry Cavill got on Instagram like Monday, like y'all had the weekend. I'm spoiling this shit. He's back as Superman. He's done with The Witcher. I don't think that's coincidence. No release date or filming schedule or anything has been announced. It's just we're getting new Superman eventually. I was gonna ask y'all. Do y'all think that since he's back, Affleck might be a little tickled to like fully commit?
No. Yeah.
We're getting all these reports like Ben Affleck's in Aquaman, Ben Affleck's in The Flash, Ben Affleck's in Blue Beetle, Ben Affleck's in Booster Gold, Ben Affleck's in a bunch of shit that I'm just making up. And
not in Blue Beetle.
I don't think he's really in Blue Beetle, but Flash and Aquaman for sure. Do y'all think like they'll like shake it up? Maybe like James and James Gunn and Peter Saffireman are the head of DC Films. Yay. I want to know how y'all feel about that. But do y'all think like he'll reach out to everybody that like Hamada and those fuckheads like kind of like pushed out? Like, hey, like you're in good hands now. Like, let's do this. Eric, start us off.
I think usually with a transition like that, you got to get an assessment of to see like from their point of view what happened, you know, because the whole Henry Cavill thing, I just don't get. It's like why they didn't want him to be Superman or stay Superman and just being petty, or they just being petty towards Zack Snyder, and I wouldn't doubt
That's it.
any of it.
Yeah,
and
even though he cast Momoa, even though he cast Gal Gadot,
he cast everybody. And but yeah, I like it's curious to see what happened. There's a rumor with Ben Affleck that he signed a deal, a movie deal. I don't know if it's confirmed, but right, I don't. But we definitely had to bring it up. And there's another rumor that is it Warner Discovery? What's the name of the company now?
Something along those lines.
So there's a rumor that they reached out to Kevin Feige and he politely turned them down.
Oh, word.
Yeah, I don't know how many of y'all heard that one, but I like it with the James Gunn and the other dude. And we'll see what happens.
I'm not mad at it. Some people really think it's gonna be big. Like, I don't know. I feel like James Gunn will want to find a happy medium between the like restore the Snyderverse like bros and then like people who like care. I don't think it's gonna go like one direction. I don't think every movie is gonna just be like the Suicide Squad. I think he's gonna oversee it. He's gonna want to find like a happy. I really don't think like the restore the Snyderverse like conversation is actually as like complicated as like people make it seem. It's just kind of like it's almost like politics. It's like people who go way too far on any end of a spectrum are always going to get the most noise.
Yeah.
But it's most people just want to see it continue like in one direction, kind of like
Not
Marvel.
that One Direction.
Like, well, yeah, you know, I would love to see One Direction, but that's a different
In
conversation.
a DC movie?
It's like Marvel. It's like people pick and choose which Marvel movies they do and don't like. It's like most people don't like Suicide Squad in some kind of way. Most people agree that that's kind of like not a great movie. But it's like that's still part of the narrative, and most people just want to see that narrative keep going. It's like Wonder Woman 84 to me is like, I want to be like, oh, that's part of the Snyderverse, but it's still part of like the narrative. And it's like, okay, so that weirdness is happening over here, but I want to know that Henry Cavill is still over here as Superman while that's happening. And it's like we haven't had that confirmation in like 5 years.
Dude, I still want to like complain. Like, I like Wonder Woman 84 more than the average, but
So do I.
she still in Batman v Superman says, I've just been chilling with my feet up for 100 years, and this is what got me to pick the lasso back up. So 84, like, you know what I mean?
Not that long.
You know
but
what I
you've
mean?
been chilling 30 years, like tops.
Yeah.
But that's really, like, I'm not too concerned. Like, like James Gunn has it, like both of those dudes. Because didn't you say the other guy was the guy who was doing the Conjuring universe?
Yeah, he has some producing on his resume.
I mean, who would have even thought when the Conjuring came out that would be like a thing? Like the Conjuring just seemed kind of like another movie, and people liked it because it was actually good and like scary. So it's like, oh, like both of these guys have experience like overseeing, you know, shared universes. I'm not too concerned. I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
Unless it sucks. And I'm going to backtrack everything I just said.
That's what I'm saying. Like, James Gunn might be like the marketing face of it all, and he might be the actual behind the scenes architect.
But also, like, he doesn't really, like, he listens to like what the fans want, stuff like that. But he also like really doesn't give a shit. Like, if somebody comes in and is like, "You're ruining this" or whatever, you ruined it. Like, he doesn't really care. Like, at the end of the day, like, I feel like he wants, like, somebody somewhere probably was like, Peacemaker having a dance sequence at the time, a horrible idea. And he was like, I don't care. I know that it's gonna slap every week. I know every week everyone's gonna love that. And like we did. It didn't matter. Like it just worked for the show. So,
Rocket?
Like, yeah.
Do you really want to taste it?
Yeah.
I will say this. I read an article, I don't know if it was Variety or Hollywood Reporter, where they're no longer calling it the DCEU. They're calling it DCU. And I think they're trying to distance themselves from the Snyderverse, even though he casted that whole allotment of characters. Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, you know, Jason Momoa, you know, Ezra Miller. At the end of the day, David Zaslav has this plan. And I think bringing in, my theory is this. He has James Gunn and Peter Safran. Good combination, good duo. Gunn is going to take care of the project. Safran does the logistics, you know, the numbers, he'll crunch the numbers and all that. Like Eric said, there's a rumor out there that they reached out to Feige and he kindly turned them down. My theory is this. I personally think Walter Hamada, when he was with DC or Warner Brothers, didn't get a fair shake because of the old regime to run it. He was being told what to do, so that's what he did. My theory is this. Don't be surprised if you hear rumors of Hamada going to Marvel, where Feige hires him. He now sees, because from what we're hearing is Feige's running thin. They got him all over the place. He's got too many projects. Maybe Hamada could work on the TV side for the time being while Feige now does the movie side. Remember, this deal with Safran and Gunn is 4 years. I got a feeling once that contract runs out, Gunn will still stay with Warner Brothers. Remember, Alan Horn, who used to be the boss of Feige at Marvel, is now a consultant at Warner Brothers. it's gonna come full circle. I got a feeling after the 4-year contract is up, Gunn is still gonna do what he's gonna do. Feige's gonna leave Disney, go to DC. Walter Hamada will take over Marvel, and it's just gonna come full circle because now, remember, Gunn, when he was doing Guardians of the Galaxy, like, who the hell are these characters? He made them known. After Guardians 2, him and Feige had a great relationship. Feige, to me, was molding him to be his right-hand man to a point where, maybe it could have been where James Gunn would have been announced before Twittergate. Gunn would have been announced as Feige's, say, co-assistant, where he's taking over the galactic portion of the MCU, where he deals with the Doctor Strange stuff, the Guardian stuff, the Fantastic Four, where, they pulled out those old tweets. That issue happened. I'm glad they brought it back for Guardians 3. But now, what was Marvel's loss is DC's gain. And at the end of the day, my feeling and my theory is that after the 4 years are up, Gunn is still going to be there. Maybe Alan Horn is still the consultant. Remember, Alan Horn is the one that let go of James Gunn. And now he's in DC. And I'm going to be surprised if he told Zaslav, get this guy. Gunn is the right guy to help run the DCU, because he saw Feige molded him in that sense. So at the end of the day, I think within 4 to 5 years, I can see Feige leaving Marvel. I mean, he's got nothing to accomplish there. He did what he did. Come over to DC. Him and Gunn are going to work. Walter Hamada, like I said, just my theory, gets hired by Feige to help him coexist the TV side and that, and work together. And maybe if Feige does leave, Hamada now is taking over Marvel. That's just my theory.
Ooh. Rocket with the mic drop.
Right.
I'll see you next week.
That's a hell of it.
Once we're internationally known, Rec League Podcast, we're going to have to dig this shit up when it all comes true.
If that happens, my jaw's, I'm going to be like,
how did he know?
Oh my God. He knew.
Rocket had a crystal ball.
I'll get a sponsorship, so we won't worry about Rec League, though.
We weren't going to hire Hamada, but we actually do.
Because I mean, I feel like when Hamada got hired, it was the old regime. Like, they rushed out. Justice League was a mess. What happened with Snyder's family.
Justice League was a mess.
It was a mess, and even though Josh Whedon is the person he is,
trash.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I even heard he was asking the higher ups for more time because the visual effects.
Oh no shit! The visual effects, no shit.
To get them done correctly. So
that's crazy how we get so lost in that those little stories don't come out about Josh Whedon, like the sequence with Batman and I forget the actor from Mindhunter, the guy he was chasing on the roof.
McCallany.
There you go.
Yeah, Colt McCallany. He it was somewhere I read. He said that sequence was supposed to be a whole lot different, and he said Josh Whedon even sent him a letter apologizing that it wasn't edited like he told him it was going to be. But we don't hear about that. But still, it's still what it is. It was never going to be good. The Justice League.
I said Colt. I'm thinking about football. His name's Holt.
Yeah, I said Colt. Holt.
very, very, very good character actor. And I remember being like, I had no idea he was in this movie.
Dude,
what is happening in this scene?
He was still on a show on FX called Lights Out that I still think didn't get a fair shake. That shit was a boxing show. That shit was good as fuck.
That's what I heard. And remember, he was in Mindhunters, Netflix, the Netflix show Mindhunters, which was fantastic.
Show.
Netflix's first was Mindhunter. Like, everybody loved Mindhunter. They're like, please give it another day. They're just like, yeah, no.
Right.
and Randy, to the other question too, is like with Ben Affleck. I think he's gonna be in the new Flash movie. He's gonna be an Aquaman. Now that Cavill's back, I mean, from what I hear, Affleck and Cavill pretty good friends. You know, maybe once he comes back, that'll get him going to maybe think. You know, he's doing one project now, do another project. Maybe Zaslav likes this crew. Maybe he gives a member. The guy, one, is an Academy Award winning director with Argo.
And writer.
And writer, exactly. What can be, I mean, it works out where we have an Academy Award winning director. Maybe he gets his Batman versus Deathstroke movie. I remember the Batman with Matt Reeves. That's even Matt Reeves said that's that's an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, with Flashpoint, exactly, Michael Keaton is coming back in the Flash movie as well. Maybe that changed a little bit now because with the Flash movie, with all the craziness and they canceling, you know, Batwoman, you know, at the end of the day, you're hearing Mike Keaton's going to have a bigger role as Batman coming back. But now things have changed.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Affleck, you know, getting a little, whether it's a little cameo or even 10 minutes of screen time in the Flash movie, another 10 to 15 minutes in Aquaman. You know, you get that itch where now maybe the old regime, it left a bad taste in his mouth. Like the old regime, it just didn't work out. This looks like more of a plan that's coming together the right way.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing Affleck might see that and Zaslav might see that and be like, look, we could make this happen. The script is already done. The script is done. They had the casting, they had the characters. Maybe it does happen. Like I said, I would love to see that happen. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But imagine that movie, a directed Ben Affleck Batman movie, which that's his favorite character.
That's the dream.
I mean, I heard he built a bat cave at one point in his house. So, and he gets to direct it. You get an award-winning director, Joe Manganiello, coming in as Deathstroke. I mean, that's, you never know.
And Jared Leto coming back also for Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said in the chat, my theory, the secret project from James Gunn. I'm gonna say it here. I think it's gonna be some sort of the Justice League.
Yeah, I don't
know, reboot or soft reboot, a continuation. It's gonna be something involved because all these people, Cavill, Affleck, I don't know. I think it's something. It's gonna be something related.
And I can see Dave Bautista coming after Guardians is done. I can see him jumping ship and coming to DC.
Yeah, Suicide Squad versus Justice League. It's gonna be something James Gunny.
If he's not banned, then fuck that project. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole Michael Keaton as the DC Nick Fury thing, I think they're gonna slowly just write that out and not even announce it. They just won't do it. And yeah, they're setting up Amanda Waller to be that character.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
No.
Like, she made perfect sense in Black Adam. Like, yeah. I mean, like, I thought Black Adam was kind of ho-hum over it. Like, I gave it like a solid 3. Like, I was like, it was fine.
The hierarchy of the DC universe has changed.
There wasn't anything in it, like, you know, her being in it and what's her name? Hardcourt being in it. I was like,
Mrs. James Gunn.
Yeah, I was like, you know, it makes sense that they would be handling this because they're worried that this is a bad guy and they know where, you know, yeah, they have an underwater prison. Sure, they would be in, like, okay, like, that makes sense to me. So I'm like, if we just kind of keep on that path, I'm not mad at it. I think the best thing, like, they could do, like, if they make, like, a new Justice League movie anytime soon, kind of like soft reboot it, kind of like a best of both worlds type of thing, a little lighter, like, not everything has to be 4 hours long and, like, dark and broody. A little lighter, better, but then also have some kind of tease for that futuristic apocalypse fucking thing that Zack Snyder wanted to do. Because that was like almost like the best part of his Justice League for me, was like that whole like 20-minute sequence at the end. I mean, that's like the best thing they could do, like to let people know, like, oh, we still have that vision going forward. We're just kind of, not everything needs to be super long, super serious, but it also doesn't.
Yeah.
Dostoevsky and like the Flash's face,
No.
like in one desk.
Oh man,
You're dressed
you know
like a
what,
bat.
Randy?
You're crazy, Bruce Wayne.
Randy, segue. It's a segue there if you want to take it about not everything has to be that long.
Well, let me take a stab at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fuck it. We're done with DC. We're done with DC. Throw your tomatoes and
All right.
lettuce. I'm the Penguin. Fuck you.
So
So I want to go around the horn. Nick, no explanation, no reasons why. Just rapid fire. I'm gonna start with Rocket.
I'm gonna give explanations.
No, absolutely not. Your top 5, not necessarily franchises, just characters. Your 5 favorite slashers.
5, Ghostface. 4, I will say Chucky. 3, Freddy. 2, Jason. 1, Michael Myers. The real Michael Myers. So
No. Corey is the real Michael Myers now.
no.
Eric?
That's like Michael Myers at the dollar store. So
That's Miguel Myers.
He caught me off guard. The real Michael Myers, motherfucker.
Oh. No, all right, that was
right.
Magneto in X-Men First Class.
So 5 for me is I guess since we can do Ghostface, we can do this character. 5 for me is the babyface killer from Happy Death Day movies.
Ooh.
Underrated.
I thought about saying that as a sarcastic, jokey answer.
I love it.
That's a really good one.
So 5, 4, Ghostface. 3, Chucky. 2 would have to be, well, 1 is going to be Michael Myers, but 2 I would struggle with. Probably have to say, what the heck, just it's bland list, but you rapid fire, so it's going to be Jason for now.
Nicholas?
I had the movies in mind. I thought you wanted like the 5 movies, but if it's the actual people, shuffle it. So 5, I guess I would have Leatherface.
Ooh. Boo.
But that wouldn't be number 5 in the movies.
Boo.
4, Freddy. 3, Chucky. But not the movie. The movies would be in a different order. 2, Billy and Stu, specifically Scream.
All right.
1, Michael Myers. But that would not be the order of the movie, but it would be those same movies kind of flipped.
Whoa, you mean not Roman? It was Roman? From
Roman? My lawyer loved that.
Y'all are wild. All right. Candyman, Leprechaun, Valentine, Urban Legend, and Bodies. My bad, that was fake.
Great.
That was super fake because
I like
we all spoilers and we gonna talk about that shit later. But Bodies is an impossible slasher choice.
I don't know. Well, yeah.
It is.
No, yeah.
Have y'all two? So Eric, Rocket, have y'all seen Bodies?
Not yet. I've not.
Fuck.
Nope.
It's for sure.
Okay, so we might not talk about that one.
Yeah.
I think 5 I go Chucky. 4 I go Michael. 3 Ghostface. 2 Jason. 1 Freddy.
Jason over Michael?
Jason over Michael. Just the different continuities. Like if we're talking just the original Halloween, yeah, like Michael would be 1.
Yeah.
I get you.
And people forget though with the Jason movies, the Friday 13 movies. I love it when people like, yeah, Jason. You know, who was the killer in the first Friday 13? They're like Jason. Obviously, you did not see the movie because Jason
Oh my
had nothing
God.
to do with it.
Yeah.
Jason pops up at the end, spoiler,
in the water.
Oh, right.
8 years later,
I
when like
think I sent y'all this. It's so bad. I saw
bad.
I saw a major publication. They were talking about Kevin Bacon.
Idiots.
Kevin Bacon is one of Jason Voorhees' original victims. He
Yep.
was.
He absolutely is not.
Yeah.
I mean, he was shish kebab through that thing. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's. But also, people forget. People love the iconic look of Jason. Remember, we got to thank a very
Yeah.
forgettable character, but I don't forget him. His name was Shelley in
Yep.
Friday the 13th 3D, and he's the one that had the iconic hockey mask.
Yeah,
And
he gave him
after
the
Jason
mask. Yeah.
Killed him.
Are we
Jason took
talking?
the mask, and that's what that was.
Is the hockey mask the iconic look, or is like husky like zombie Jason the iconic
So,
look? If I think of iconic
specifically-
Jason, I'm thinking like Jason Lives, maybe Jason Takes Manhattan, that era.
So this is gonna be a little Jason. So the iconic
Little Jason
version of Jason is the zombie Jason, was started in part 6.
Yep.
But the
Mhm.
best actor to play Jason is definitely Kane Hodder in part 7. And in my
Absolutely.
opinion, the best look, when you see the spine and the mask
Yeah.
crack with the skull
Mhm.
and the chain around the neck still.
We've talked
Like,
about it a couple times, but I don't hate Derek Mears.
They're called from the. Yeah, it's not his fault. That movie is what it is. If you don't
Yeah.
like it,
Underrated.
He like stood and like did the breathing,
yeah. In this thing, he looked up and
standing there like this, and I'm like, dude, if I saw that like standing in the water, shit, like I would die. Like, I'd be, oh my god. I
think-
Jason, like he's an absolute like the movie is kind of ridiculous, but like he looked awesome like throughout the whole movie.
If I had a fish tank,
think-
I'd have a Jason figure in that fish tank.
Yes.
I think my favorite looks of Jason was when he first got the mask. Because remember, in part 3, the 3D one, what was the girl's character's name, Christine or whatever? When they're in the barn, she takes off his. Remember, supposedly in that movie, she was attacked by Jason years ago. Comes back
yeah,
to Camp
that's
Crystal
right.
Lake,
yeah.
and then she goes, "It is you," because he shows his face when he takes off the hockey mask and puts it down. I think that look of him, and as bad as this movie is, Jason 10 when he's in outer space, that mask is dope.
Yeah.
The whole thing about
Yep.
Jason, great. He looked awesome as regular Jason, and then like space Jason was awesome.
Yeah, the
Evil
Uber
gets an
Jason, what they
upgrade.
call him.
Yeah, I don't care. I
Leg-
love Jason.
Legit tagline.
I don't know. I don't think it's
Look-
enough credit for like how tongue in cheek it is. Like, yeah, like it's stupid, but it's like they knew they were making like a really stupid movie. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
did. That's why like the tone is like so weird. It's so weird. Like it's so much of it. Like when you watch it, like every character is odd in some kind of way. Like the teacher is like not like the teacher isn't having an affair with the student. The student is like pinching his nipples with like pliers and like doing. I was like, see, it's so off, even by weird standards. It's like so weird, and like every character like talk kind of weird.
Rec League has broken new ground.
Yeah, I love it. The guys flying the ship are all just like kind of like rednecks, like not really. Like they're just like all off, like just a little bit.
Oh man.
It's so much better than like Jason Goes to Hell.
I like trying to like formulate who I wanted to bring up, what characters I wanted to bring up, like, and looking at my slashers list, I don't even know, like, are we considering like the Strangers slashers? You're next, and like I even like questioned like Leprechaun.
Leprechaun is definitely a slasher.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Mhm.
It's like Freddy. If that's not a slasher, then like Child's Play is not a slasher.
Yeah. Because
I think that-
Good enough.
what Nick said, what we don't want to do, because I got a list of some underrated ones on here. We don't want to talk about Chucky and Freddy and Jason for 45 minutes each.
No, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm looking, like I'm glad you brought up like Happy Death Day. I wanted to make sure that got brought up. Like I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love
The fisherman.
Yeah, like
Yep.
Candyman, like shit that the normie might not acknowledge as slasher.
Because there's a movie, I wish they'd have done a third one of came out 09 and 2012 that nobody talks about, and I think they're pretty good movies. I think the character, well, then again, they ended it with the second one. I'm talking about The Collector and The Collection.
Oh, you don't know what that?
Yeah.
Watch this for some reason. Like I just never got around to watching it. Now they're all like old. I'm like, wait, I went 10 years.
Well, I mean, look who brought them up.
Would you consider Jigsaw as a slasher? Jigsaw would be a slasher. You consider that one?
Oh yeah. Well, it's that's
it's not really slasher, but yeah.
It's definitely horror.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think anybody has straight out asked that question. That's a good question.
I remember watching something. It was like the Eli Roth, like History of Horror or something, and they were talking about slashers, and they did a whole segment on how The Silence of the Lambs is a slasher movie. And I was like, but I remember kind of making the argument that I was like, well, I guess I never really thought of it that. I still don't really consider it to be one, but
it's psychological more than anything.
It's like chasing the women. He catches them and kills them. I'm like, yes.
My thing on John Kramer isn't really killing people.
Right.
I mean, of course they're gonna die or like lose a limb or whatever, but technically they're doing it to themselves.
Totally sliced Danny Glover's throat though, and killed his partner.
For sure.
Oh yeah, that's true enough.
Ken Lone didn't stand a chance.
I was like, really? Because he totally did. But that's neither here.
Now let me ask y'all about these movies. I've never seen them, but they're popular. A lot of people who talk about them really love them. The Wolf Creek movies?
Yeah, no
Wolf
idea.
Creek is great. You ever seen Wolf Creek?
No.
I think the first one, that's it.
The first one, the second one is a little different, but like the second one is like fake. The first one is like, this is based on true events, and it like feels like when you're watching it, because it's, just like the way everything unfolds, it's like half the movie is like, it's almost like Hostel. If you've ever seen Hostel.
Yes.
Like
I saw 2 of those.
All of a sudden, everything is happening. And like, there's only like 3 victims, like 3 people. You're like, he's going to kill at least 2 of these people. So it doesn't matter how much you've come to know them over the movie. It's like, they aren't going to be safe at the end. Yeah, Wolf Creek is scary. Wolf Creek is good. Mm-hmm. 2 is
to go with.
More of like a traditional slasher kind of feeling, as I recall. I've only watched it like once.
All right, let's hit this first break right quick. No more luau's for Nicholas. I'm going to say it now because they're not going to cancel me. Anchor, you can go fuck yourself. like straight diver in mode.
It's going to work when it goes on there, and they're like, wow.
Good pods all day, baby. I'd switch up if Good Pods could record. I don't know, where were we?
We were going to talk about some, Eric said, an underrated slasher flick.
Oh, yeah. I got one in mind.
Your Wolf Creek and all that shit.
Yeah, which I haven't seen. I was asking y'all if y'all saw that. But one in...
Good.
No, but one in particular is a couple. I think, and it's crazy because it was a major studio. And I think they dropped the ball. Universal Pictures. And it's a slasher movie, but it was a good goofy slasher movie. And the slasher's name was Dr. Evan Wren. What movie?
Dr. Giggles.
Dr. Giggles.
Duh.
Have y'all seen that recently? I mean, it's a...
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, you
I've never seen it.
I thought it was a dentist, and I brought it up in my last dentist appointment and had him laughing.
Yeah. I mean, it had the potential to be a good series. If all these other, I mean, if like you said, The Dentist has 2 movies, Dr. Giggles could at least got one more.
The one with the razor blade teeth on the poster.
Yeah, on the poster, yeah.
I was thinking of, yeah.
With Corbin Bernstein, which is nuts. But slasher. So I'm glad that this dude is getting the accolades that he's getting, or at least the projects, because this movie, I meant to look it up. I don't know if it was dumped. I believe it was dumped on Netflix, and a major studio didn't want it. So the movie called Hush.
Yes.
From 2016.
Yes.
And Flanagan, it's Mike Flanagan,
Yeah.
right? Who was just an amazing filmmaker. That movie, has everybody seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't realize it. So for those of you who haven't seen it, the movie is about a woman, she's deaf. And the way that they introduce, like Mike Flanagan is such an awesome filmmaker, the way they introduce that she is deaf was pretty cool. So the movie is like an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. There's only 10 minutes of dialogue in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And other than that, it's just suspense. And
I
it
knew A
plays
Quiet
on
Place was a ripoff.
What's that?
I knew A Quiet Place was a ripoff.
Yeah. But no, it's and a lot of people don't talk about it. I don't think a lot of people know about it, which is just sad because it's a good movie.
I think it's because it was on Netflix, and it's like it's a Netflix movie, so like, so be it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's easy to get passed over. Yeah.
Yeah, they're only marketing shit that has big name actors in it.
Exactly.
It could have been number one on Netflix though, and like still like would have made no like real footprint.
It will be in 3 years.
But yeah. Like, oh my God, have you seen Hush?
Yeah, like 10 years ago.
Like Mike Flanagan
Get
as
it
a
together,
movie
Sarah.
more than I like him as a TV guy.
Yeah, me too.
He's got Netflix like shows and like they're good, but like they're not really my cup of tea. But like all of his movies are like good that I've seen. Like Doctor Sleep is fantastic. Not a slasher. Go off on a tangent. Like
Stay on topic.
But Hush, yeah, I liked Hush as I recall. I've only watched him.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to watch it.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But then you got the goofy so 1 and 2 specifically, because they're so goofy, especially the second one, that they're hilarious. So the Slumber Party Massacre movies. So the first one is the dude, he has the drill, right?
Power drill.
Yeah, the power drill. But
Yeah.
the second one is just so batshit insane. It's the one with the guitar with the drill on it. I know y'all know this, even if you haven't seen the movie.
I've never seen the second one.
But I remember that. So like maybe I had. I remember the.
Oh man, but yeah, all these obscure. But I'm just glad. But Happy Death Day, that's the one that really. And it's sad because the director, I forget his name, he made Freaky also.
Christopher Landon.
Christopher Landon. I'm like, man, I wish he would have just took the Freaky money and made just the third Happy Death Day to close out the trilogy.
I think all three of those movies fucked pretty hard. I really like.
Yeah.
After his Twitter rant,
good.
man,
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
After that Twitter rant, I don't see Universal approving a third movie.
Yeah,
on Wikipedia, it says a third movie is in the work.
Yeah, that's what I know about.
Yeah.
I heard or read that he's got the script done and he's just waiting for the green light.
Yeah.
So have y'all seen? Everybody's seen Happy Death Day 2, right?
To you.
To you, right? To you.
It's like really.
Oh, what's that, Nick?
It's like barely a horror movie, really.
Yeah.
So yes, that's what I was speaking on. I think the genius of it is it switches genres.
Yeah.
Because it turns into basically a sci-fi movie, right?
Yeah, time travel stuff like that. Yep.
First, they were like, it's Scream meets Groundhog Day. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then it's like it's like Scream meets Back to the Future Part 2 or something like that. Like what's like a really like weird like sci-fi complicated story, or it's like Scream meets like Rick and Morty or something like that. They're like, what's like a confusing sci-fi premise that we can just do over and over, and I think it works.
Yeah.
Because although it is that, Happy Death Day to you, it's still they stick with the slasher aspect and they switch it around with different killers and let me so Christopher Landon, I'm going to give him a shout out to him about in all his movies, especially Happy Death Day 2. There's a specific scene in there, and freaky, and which you wouldn't expect it. But Happy Death Day 2, you know, in the first movie, she's lost her mother, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Happy Death Day 2, she's in the alternate timeline, whatever you want to call it, and she's having lunch with her dad, and she's like, okay, and let's have, and then her mother shows up, and she didn't expect that, and when she has to say goodbye, I mean, man, for the movie
That's
that
rough.
it is, that was a touching
Heavy,
scene.
right?
Yeah. I mean, it was like real good.
My only issue with that movie, like at all, like writing wise, is because like I get like that is kind of like a conflict in the story. Like she wants to stay there because we're from it, and she realizes that like in staying there, she's not gonna be with like this dude. But it's not the turn. Like, you know what? This is more important. This is better, and so be it. And as the movie kind of goes along, they talk to her like, well, you know, you're not really living your life. You're living like another version of you's life.
Yes.
And
Right.
your mother so much. And then they're in the car. There's a scene, and her mom says, remember when we used to do the thing? And she was like, that's not my memory.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'd be like, she's got to go. But the thing in the movie, like when she's leaving, like she kind of makes it seem like she's leaving to go be with the guy.
Yeah.
Like I was like, man, fuck that guy. Like who cares about the guy? Like at the end of the day, like I would want to stay with my mother.
Yeah.
100%. I probably, even if like it was like, even if it was like, well, that's not really your mom. I don't care. It's close enough.
But I think they also alluded to the fact that, you know, it would be unfair to the other version of herself.
That's what I was gonna say too. It's like now you're taking somebody else's memories,
Right.
that were created by an alternate version of yourself. Is that right of you to steal that from that version of you?
Yeah.
I wouldn't care. I'd be like,
Like,
Chuck E. Cheese, and I'd be like,
yeah, but like Randy said, with that rant, rightfully so, because it's a good argument. But yeah, Universal probably, and it sucks because if he wants to take his story somewhere else, he can. But we know how petty Universal is. Kevin Smith, for example, they won't. Yeah, so that's unfortunate that we'll never see that.
I just feel like he was doing the shit in defense of Halloween Ends day and date streaming on Peacock, and Freaky, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Freaky was November 2020, balls deep in the pandemic, and the movie lost money, but Jamie Lee Curtis put out a little like video advertisement. Hey guys, fuck Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This worked for Halloween Kills. We're gonna do it for Halloween Ends. So it's like the creators of that movie were cool with it. So like, bro, like save your shit. You're gonna hurt your own pockets.
I mean, my whole thing with the day and date stuff too, you know, which I understand why he went on that rant. And remember, it's your name. You're prideful. You did this project.
Especially when Freaky was movie. Really good.
Yeah, it was. And at the end of the day, like, it's like sports. No matter what, sorry, Nick. It's like sports. No matter what, bottom line, no matter how you win, by a point or by 20, a win is a win. Whether you win good or you win ugly, a win is a win, right? At the end of the day, in movies, it's box office.
Yeah.
People look at it and they see if Freaky, you know, is promoted well, whatever. Oh, it only made X amount of million. It couldn't have been that good. No, that's not the choice. Because look at The Suicide with James Gunn. The Suicide. That movie I thought was solid, but yet it flopped in the theaters. Why? Because it was a day and date. At the end of the day, is these big time, you know, studios. How do you not see? Look, Halloween Ends still made what, like 67 million? It made 67 million or something like that. Imagine if it wasn't on Peacock and you're forced now to go into, whether it's good or bad, you're forced to go in
and spend money.
I'd say that's at least 90.
I mean, how many shitty movies have we seen that they hype it up, the trailer looks good, you go in and it makes over 100 million?
Michael Bay's Bread and Butter.
You know, but yet they made their money that first weekend.
Remember that?
It's a terrible.
I did a throwback Thursday, maybe the other day, and it got me thinking. That I was like, remember this movie? Remember the movie The Devil Inside? Randy, I'm sure you didn't watch it.
Oh my god, that thing is terrible.
Okay, like that movie's like notoriously shitty. To anybody that's seen it, it's like, how that fucking stuff.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Trailers for it were like really creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And number one, it did like really well, as I recall.
It was a January horror movie.
Yeah, and it made like $100 million. No one talks about that movie though, because it's notoriously bad. Like everybody's like, wow,
Yeah.
fucking terrible. But like to numbers, it was like, wow, that was a massive box office hit. I met the other day. I was like, when that movie went number one, and like everybody went and saw it. Everybody came out like, that.
Yeah.
But man, you've seen American Pie, Nick. Going back to the sports thing, you don't score unless you score.
You don't score till you score.
So man, like, I know Nick has. Nick's seen X. Nick's seen Pearl. Eric, you haven't seen X, right?
I just haven't seen X. Yeah. Need to go buy that.
And Rocket hasn't seen Bodies. So 2022 slashers are kind of off the table.
Has everybody seen? Well, it's not a slasher. Barbarian is not a slasher, right?
No,
not so much.
I still haven't watched it.
Nah.
I got an underrated movie that
Just
it was built up. I consider it a slasher, and the ending leaves you in a cliffhanger.
You
if
consider
anybody's
Saw a
seen it.
splasher though?
Hellfest. Have you seen that one?
No.
I Belfast.
I liked Hellfest.
Because it was just kind of like a good old fashioned like slash, like it was no real story attached to it. It was like a good old fashioned like simple concept slasher movie. I enjoyed it.
Exactly.
Is it slasher in the way Malignant is a slasher? Because it wasn't really marketed like that.
No, it's a slasher film.
Like the Slumber Party. Like it's very simple. Kids are at it like amusement park, and there's a guy killing them off.
Well, I just saw that in Texas Chainsaw 3D.
Yeah,
that movie's trash.
Yeah, straight up.
It's at the end of the day though, like with Hellfest, what was intriguing about it was, like they were saying, that it takes place. You know, they go to an amusement park, and this girl is the main character, and her friends are getting picked off one by one. There's a scene where she sees one of her friends die, and the slasher looks up at her, because it's like, you know, everybody's dressed up in different costumes, and he goes like this, so he sees her, he knows, and so she knows he saw her.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, pretty much the way that ends and what you see in the ending, it's intriguing. You're like, what the hell?
I was kind of surprised they never.
Exactly.
I was about to say it made $2, so they never capitalized off of it.
But the thing is this: the way that cliffhanger would have been like, that's when they get you, and you're like, okay, they got to make a second one.
But even without
it,
like it still worked. Like the ending it's not
worked.
Like it really. It's just kind of like, oh, that's fun. Like I don't know. I just remember seeing it in the theater, being like, that was fun. Like I didn't.
Yeah, it was
better.
All right.
Like old fashioned kind of slasher, which you really don't see as often. Like it's either some kind of legacy continuation or like Happy Death Day, where it's like we're putting a spin on the typical slasher.
Yeah.
Which is good, but it's like Hellfest is just very much like could have come out in like the 90s and would have probably been like the same thing. It would have been like Urban Legend for
Speaking of which, I'm surprised we haven't brought what spawned those movies. That movie you just named, Nick, right there. So let's talk about, so Scream comes out, and then, you know, Kevin Williamson dusts off a script that he had. Urban Legend comes out. I Know What You Did Last Summer comes out. Valentine comes out. That stretch of like, wow, Scream worked. Now every studio wanted to get a script.
Scream babies.
Yeah, there you go. Scream babies. But
that was my era. Arrived in that era.
Urban Legend. I wanted to talk about that. So, man, that's nuts that Jared Leto is in that movie.
Academy Award winner.
There you go.
I like Urban Legend.
I like Urban Legend. Right. I think it's fun.
Pop Rocks and Pepsi.
Yes.
And who was that?
I was about to say Robert Englund's a professor.
Yeah.
Didn't Joshua Jackson do the Pop Rocks and Pepsi?
No, that was Rosenbaum.
Was it Rosenbaum?
Michael Rosenbaum.
Lex
Because the
Luthor?
dog was in a microwave. And...
Yeah.
Danielle Harris is in
great.
that movie too.
Yep.
Yeah. But you know what sucks though? I'm sorry, I gotta bring it up. It's
Couple of
Elephant
the
in the Room.
sequels.
Is no, not the sequels, but the killer in Urban Legend. The first one is a killer in real life. Which is
Who was killed by Brad Pitt in another movie?
dope. Well, yeah, it's true. So no, it's unfortunate. But it is what's her name? Rebecca Gayheart?
Yeah, wasn't she like a model or something at one point? That's how she got like she's in commercials and all that. And
She was trying to bed Tim Robbins in Nothing to Lose, bro.
Wow.
Ooh. She was Rebecca Gayheart Dane. She used to be with Eric Dane.
Yeah.
I don't know why I work for People Magazine.
Yeah. Man, Tara Reid was in that. She's the radio host.
That movie's got a solid cast.
Yeah. Alicia Witt, lead girl. I always had a crush on her. I just always liked Urban Legend. It was just one of those movies, like, I was young enough to just be like, this is cool as hell. Cool. And it didn't matter if it was good or not.
Not a 9-year-old kid, though.
So here's something, what was the second one? Urban Legend, the Final Cut?
Urban Legends, the Final Cut.
Urban Legends, I'm sorry. Urban Legend.
Decade.
And Rebecca Gayheart was in Scream 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she was in Scream 2. With,
Portia de Rossi.
Portia de Rossi.
Get it together, Nick.
Yeah, it's Ellen's wife.
So here's the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon type stuff. So Urban Legend.
Which she makes reference to in Scream 2.
Right. That's funny. And you keep going. Urban Legends, the Final Cut was directed. I think it's the only movie that John Ottman directed. So John Ottman is the Academy Award winning editor of Bohemian Rhapsody. But he's also a film composer. He worked with Bryan Singer on like everything while he still made movies. And I think John Ottman made a score for Halloween H2O that got scrapped because they said it was too whimsical. So he was replaced by Marco Beltrami for the score. And that's a lot of stuff. But
Kate Mara was in Urban Legend 3.
Yeah. Oh. Has anybody seen that movie?
Bloody Mary?
No.
I know, but I'm lying if I say that I've seen it. I do, and it's going to be part of the Halloween binge at some point.
So, no, don't do it.
Probably next year.
Or Urban Legend 2 had Jennifer Morrison, Loretta Devine came back, Eva Mendes, Anson Mount of Marvel fame, Anthony Anderson. I'm getting there.
Wow.
Yeah, we more. Yeah. Not as good.
And the very, very, very rare, because I don't know if y'all noticed, a trope that it's gotten better over the years, but Urban Legend, the first one in Urban Legend's Final Cut, there's a character in there. I think she's the only character from the first movie, Loretta Devine, as a security
I just
guard,
said.
right? Yeah. No. I'm getting somewhere. But she doesn't die.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's not a main character. But
I would have liked to have been surprised by that if I ever watched the sequel.
Oh, you're not gonna watch it. You watched it.
I only own the first one.
I've seen Urban Legends in my life, but I'm lying if I said I've seen the third one. But I remember Kate Mara is the lead in the third one, isn't she?
I just said that.
Randy, too rapid fire, buddy. But Valentine, has anybody seen that? Remember that movie from?
Yeah.
I like Valentine.
Again, not bad. Yeah, kind of trash, but kind of good.
But it's
with
like
Angel.
Like when I go back and watch it, it's fondly. Like I'm always like, oh, I remember this from when I was like 12.
So
it's not good or bad. I'm just like, oh,
I love the cover. The cover of it is
the cast. The cast is so attractive.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Really? Yeah.
That's 2001.
Denise Richards, Marley Shelton, Katherine Heigl. Man.
Yeah. Like, it's not great, but
No.
yeah, it's like the babies. Like, that was just kind of like my era. Like, Halloween H2O.
Yeah.
Very much.
It definitely is.
Like, The Faculty. Like, all of those movies.
That's a good one, The Faculty.
Yeah.
It's kind of Idle Hands to me is like Final Destination. Like, they aren't slashers, really. But they're like in that book. Like, I put them all in that. Those are the movies.
They're distant cousins of Scream.
Yeah, Idle Hands is kind of a slasher when you really think about it. It really is. It's more like a demonic slasher. It's kind of in the Malignant family, I would say.
I still got to see Malignant. If I do, I just want to get it on 4K and watch it.
Yeah.
As a slasher movie, I was like watching it. I was like, I thought this was about something else, but this is really just like. It reminded me like Jigsaw. I was like, this kind of reminds me like if Jigsaw went around killing people instead.
And that's not. And don't worry, Rocket. That's not a spoiler at all.
Yes, it is.
No,
like we told Randy.
Yes, it is.
Randy didn't want to watch it because of a specific thing he thought it was about.
It's James Wan, bro, and the trailers are literally marketed as.
And they did that on purpose.
Yeah.
Which is genius.
Yeah, for sure.
It didn't favors in terms of like money and like viewership, but it's just one of those things. Like, I wish it could have gotten the Barbarian treatment. Like, gone to see it in the theater and only the theater, and walked out like, go in blind and you're gonna love this movie.
I didn't
like people.
I wasn't like full Nick like, oh, it's definitely this, but like I knew like the cause of what put it all in motion clicked like 2 minutes before they said it.
Yeah.
Almost an hour before. And
I was never that on.
I was like just thinking, I was like, what could it be? Like, what's the issue here? Like, what was the point of like that?
You was just steadily thinking about it. I was being patient. But look at Rocket, like, well, y'all.
And then that compound, I should compound with the very beginning. Like, I should have been more in tune, but I was just waiting for something because I had in the year it's been out.
That's you trusting the movie.
Yeah. In the year it's been out, I was like, okay, like something's coming. I know something.
Yeah.
But it's on HBO Max, right?
Yeah, that's where I watched it.
Yeah, I gotta check that. Yeah, I gotta pick it up. And I still gotta watch it though.
Definitely.
They go that way, and then I was like, James Wan would go that way. Like, James Wan would write that and turn that in and be like, "This is my new movie."
He said, "Turn it."
And then, oh my god!
There you go.
But I'm like, he's probably made enough, money for Warner Brothers that he could go in there and be like.
But you know what? I was talking about this with Randy. Dumbass. So people get egos and they get a title and they run with it. So James Wan directed the most successful Fast and Furious movie.
Facts.
People forget that. Even more successful than Justin Lin, any of Justin Lin, who had a shot at it. Is Ever Gary Gray?
8. He did 8.
Yeah, and the first one, Rob Cohen. Now, what you say, Nick?
Fate, like people act like, oh, those movies are falling off or whatever. Fate also made a ton of money.
Yeah,
Fate
did.
$500 million worldwide, which is insane.
But I bring up that because James Wan, think about it, if Vin Diesel wasn't such an asshole, James Wan would have probably stayed with the series. And one point or another, what do you think about the Fast and Furious crew going after a slasher serial killer coming after the Fast and Furious crew?
That was
something. I mean, they're going to freaking space. I mean, at this point, that wouldn't be
a
bad idea.
I'm not looking forward to Fast X. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. The crew investigating a slasher. Come on, it's so goofy, but it would work.
He drove through skyscrapers.
I'm surprised they don't have a Transformers Fast Furious crossover. The Autobots.
Different studios.
Different. They would have if it was same studio. So man,
I'm gonna spit a couple titles out there that I want some discussion on. And I think I already said both of them. But one of them's in my top 5. They're both in my top 10. So I need some Strangers, which on its own is just home invasion. I think the sequel puts it as a slasher series.
honestly, yeah. If Hush is a slasher movie, then The Strangers is kind of a slasher movie as well.
And you're next.
Awesome.
Your next still super underrated. I just introduced somebody to that the other day, and it still holds up.
Your next
And
is
what's funny is,
phenomenal.
The filmmakers, and well, a lot of independent filmmakers are actors in that movie, and Ty West is in the movie.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
Dude, as a grown adult, The Strangers may be one of the only movies that literally made me feel uncomfortable watching it every time, not just first watch.
Well, it's not even that. Is that happens? That could happen now. I mean, like that's real life stuff that could happen at any moment.
Yeah.
That simple like nature of like somebody being in your house. That's why Halloween is so good. It's not that got a knife, he's running after me. It's the fact like, he's in the closet that you're standing in front of while you're looking for it. It's like he's already in that. Like the strangers, they're already in your house, dude. Like you're walking, they're just in. And like the original Saw, to me, the original Saw is the only one that's like scary. The other ones are all just kind of fun.
Yeah.
But also to me, like the scariest part of the original Saw came out when I was 14. So I was already like old enough to like not be like scared of shit. But I was like watching it, like the scariest part was the dude in the little girl's closet to me. And like the mom in there and he was there, I was like, oh, that's terrible. That's so much scarier than, you know, anything else happening in this movie. Like I get through the chain on my foot. It's like, don't be hiding in my closet. Please don't be hiding in my closet.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they're killing you in The Strangers, it's like, yeah, slasher.
Yeah, so what else you got?
Yeah. I don't watch The Strangers very often. It's scary. You got Strangers, You're Next, and Ready or Not. That's like a great triple feature of like, is it a slasher? Kinda.
Yeah,
a bunch of people. Yeah.
The girl telling him because you were home. That shit is so fucked up.
Yeah.
You die because you answered the door.
Yeah.
Just like Scream, because I want to know who I'm looking at. Just ugh.
There's a movie, you guys probably aren't going to watch it, so it's like kind of a spoiler, but like not really. It's in the marketing, it's a true story. There's a movie on Netflix right now called The Good Nurse, and it's based on a true story. It's a guy who was killing people in hospitals. He was adding insulin to their IV drips, and like nobody caught it for years. And even when they caught it, like when the police would investigate it, the officials were like too busy protecting their own reputation, protecting the hospital, that nothing ever came of it. And not to spoil it, but it's like it's a true crime, like it's a true story, so you know he did it. Like it's not like a spoiler. Like at the end, you know, when they're questioning him, they're like, "Why did you do this?" And he says, "Because nobody ever stopped me." I'm like,
crazy.
Much.
Is this Eddie Redmayne?
Eddie, yeah.
He said they just kept letting me do it, and I was like, "That's so much creepier than the fact that you're doing it."
Yeah.
It's like you stop, like nobody's gonna stop. Like that's your reason.
Just that slight little screw loose.
Yeah, it's just like because I could.
Yeah.
That's what made Michael Myers so good.
Yeah.
But we're trying to figure out what's wrong with him, and we can't. It's like he's just felt.
I mean, we started to, and then they erased it, and then they didn't give us a new answer, and then Rocket's hero Corey.
Yeah. And remember this, Randy. So I told y'all something on the last episode,
dude?
And I didn't. I forgot. So Halloween 3. Remember I told you about the ending? How creepy it was to me.
You mean Halloween Kills?
No, that Halloween Kills. No, Halloween 3, the Season of the Witch.
Oh, the one that's not in continuity.
Yeah. And, you know, he was trying to stop the TV.
Oh, yeah, you were so scared.
Come on, man. That was... No, so, actually, the first movie that did that was the ending. I don't know if people don't talk about, which is funny enough, the ending to the original Halloween, so...
Oh, no, bro, he got up.
Yeah, he gets shot off the balcony.
6 times, I shot him.
That's his Loomis accent. Like, I shot him.
But he had the slut. They did it in Kills, too. He's like, did Michael kill again?
6 times, Sheriff.
What happened here?
Lonnie, get your ass away from there.
the actual ending, which was creeped me out, and like you said, with somebody being in your house, so
because
he wasn't there, and they cut back to Laurie, and then they start going through the house, places he was, and they show the staircase, they show the bedroom, nothing's there, and then you start to hear the breathing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then they show her crying, and it goes off.
If any movie might be perfect, it's the original Halloween.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
This is a Halloween tried to do that ending again, but like pleasant. Like they were sitting on the stoop, and then they showed the house. I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
All right, bro. Like if
I
I
was
had,
like, "Get out of here!"
it's always tripped me out. Like Halloween is obviously not perfect, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. And I think probably brought it up when we had Merritt on here last episode. When she goes to the neighbor's like, "Fuck you, I'm going back to bed." She wakes up the kids. Tommy lets her in the house. She shuts the door behind her, and then Michael just pops up from behind the couch. How, Sway?
No, you forget about it.
You ain't got the answers, Sway.
The patio door is open, and she looks over, and the wind's blowing. She sees the patio door is open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Check it out. It's there.
You ain't got the answers, Sway. What?
Yeah,
like
I've been seeing this shit for most of my adult life once a year. For most of my life.
Trust me, dude.
It's open. Yeah.
It's open.
What
He
patio
goes to
door?
The sliding patio door with the curtains in front of it, and she sees it blowing, and like he's in the house now. And then he comes up
next to the main front door.
It's there.
There's a sliding door next to the front door.
No, that's how he got. That's how he got in the house. Is what we're saying.
That's just stupid door placement.
From
it's not.
I thought it was a window. I thought it was a window.
Yeah,
it's a window or patio door, but he gets in the house through that.
the window that Tommy is looking and sees him across the street.
No, not that window. It's on the side of the house.
On the side of the house.
Still, fuck that shit.
Bro.
We would have seen him.
But that's the point that we didn't.
It's not like he low crawled like a fucking soldier.
The thing is, you know that Halloween, to me, is a perfect movie because look, before that, there weren't many slashers. After that, Friday 13 ripped off of that. Nightmare on Elm Street ripped off of that. They just made it more intriguing with it's a guy in your dreams, which was awesome.
Yeah, they had a.
So you got two major franchises that are legendary with two legendary iconic characters in Freddy and Jason. Ripped it all off the first Halloween.
Yeah. I got one for you.
Wait.
Y'all spoke of this. All right, go ahead.
Break number 2.
The goddamn Jets.
All right, spit that shit.
All right, you recording again?
Yeah, we started with Nick's expletive about the Jets.
Yep. No, so this is just simple as can be. I guess there's top 3 slashers. And Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers. One has to go, as in not will they do something ever again. They never existed. No movies whatsoever. Jason, Michael Myers, or Freddy.
I'm gonna say Jason.
Jason? I'm sorry.
Jason, weak link.
Sorry.
I mean, he's got the worst original movie. The original Friday the 13th is the weakest of the 3.
He wasn't in it. Was except for the end, but he wasn't doing the killing.
That's like 2, 3 aren't anything to write home about either. Let's be real.
I think Friday the 13th Part 2 is a vast improvement.
Oh yeah,
I've got it ranked as my 18th favorite slasher.
I like.
But like we were talking about earlier. Is we didn't get the Jason that we identified Jason to be into the 6th movie.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Like I've got 3 Freddy movies in my top 10. 2 Michaels. I don't have a Friday movie on my slasher list until number 12.
Ooh.
I'd put Jason Lives like high. I don't know if it top 10 slasher movies of all time. I don't know about that, but like Jason Lives, I would have pretty high. Like if I made a list of 100,
that's my number 12.
20 probably.
Yeah, I gotta agree. It's as long even though I got that set and I love Jason.
Oh yeah, I do too.
I think he got to go because with Freddy, like I said, Michael Myers started it off.
I also think he has the most consistent sequels, though.
Yeah, like that concept of the killer is in your dream and you can't do anything about it in real life.
I would like Freddy would kill me for sure.
Yeah.
if I'm and I'm like tired, I'm one of those like let me just rest my eyes. Like I'm like one of them. I'm just gonna rest my eyes for like a minute. Next thing I know, like I'm dead. Like that would.
It's like Michael. This is like horror movies and their sequels are so ass. Like I'm literally torturing myself going through one of these franchises as we speak. Michael, like 4, 5, 6, 8 suck. He's got his 2 remakes. Say what you will about those.
4 and 5, sir.
4 is watchable, but the whole Thorn trilogy is ass.
Some of the best kills.
I like 5.
The whole Thorn trilogy is ass.
Yeah, but the Thorn trilogy mostly rests on part 6 because that's when they really.
Friday the 13th is relatively consistent, but Jason Takes Manhattan, Jason Goes to Hell are butt cheeks.
Yeah,
but put like this, he never took Manhattan because he was only in there for fucking 10 minutes.
Yeah, he took the boat.
No sense.
So it's the Halloween ends of Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Freddy, the only ass Freddy movies really are the Dream Child and Freddy's Dead.
Yeah, to be honest, like I think like 4 and 5 are about as good as one another. I'm weird like that though.
You're very weird.
Like 4 and 5, like Halloween 4 and 5 are like as good as one another.
And it's like looking at like other franchises, like truly the only good Leprechaun is 1.
Yeah, and it's not good. Like I don't even think it's good. Like to me, it's like a 2.5.
I give it a 3. Like I thought 2 was trash, and then the other ones
aren't. They're not so good per se, but you give them a hat nod because they had the balls to do it. The in the hood leprechauns.
Yeah,
Leprechaun hood is
funny as hell, man.
All the Leprechaun sequels, I think, are like consistently on par with each other.
Yeah,
I don't know. I remember watching them a few years ago. I did a Leprechaun like marathon. And had a lot of fun. Like I remember these are fun. And then maybe 2-ish years ago, I forget, I did them again. Like I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
For returns. And
they suck. Like 2 sucked. 3
Leprechaun 2 is bad.
Yeah.
They sucked. In the Hood was not good, but like it was funny. Like to me it was probably the best one. And then like Back to the Hood
was worse.
Was not. And then they did that like remake origins.
The WWE Leprechaun is horrible.
Like it wasn't like a god awful movie by itself, but if you'd have just said, "Here, watch this movie," they'd be like, "Do you know what franchise this is reinventing?" I would never have said Leprechaun. I'd have been like a new Predator or something like that, like some weird like animal predator. Like no, it's the Leprechaun.
I'm gonna present y'all. I'm gonna present all 3 of you with a question, and you're wrong. But why do y'all hate Child's Play 3?
That's one of my favorite ones.
Okay, Rocket's right.
I like 3.
When they're in the military school. And
yeah.
All that. Yeah, I like that one.
I like 3. It's just not as.
Don't backtrack now. Like at least one of y'all bashed Child's Play 3 before in my presence. Very disrespectfully.
I think 3 is better than 2. I enjoy 3 better than 2.
We've gone too far now.
Ooh, yeah.
Don't say anything you can't regret, though.
Yeah.
2 is being as good as 1 to me.
Yeah, I'm with Nick.
Look, not quite there. It's not as good, but like it's for like a sequel that could have just been like obviously we got 2. Like 2 is so good every time I watch it.
Like one of the most iconic slasher scenes ever is Chucky with that ruler.
Yes.
Oh, man.
And I love Kyle. I loved her when I was a child, and I wanted to marry her. And as an adult,
Yeah, like having another good guy in that house and Chucky like switching places is fucking classic.
Yeah.
No, when he was burying him.
Yeah.
Dirt, Tommy. Start laughing.
too. I like the military school setting.
Yeah.
I always think of this scene for some reason. Whitehurst, you remember the character Whitehurst, the like nerdy guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
When
3.
Then at the barber, Chucky kills the barber, and
Presto,
Whitehurst
you're dead.
sees for some reason, like when he runs out and everybody's in like the courtyard, like at attention or whatever, and he runs out. There's this like super artsy camera maneuver that they do that I'm like, why did they spend their entire budget on this one? I always think of that scene for some reason, like they panned out. I was like, wow, that was like Schindler's List level camera work. And then the rest of it's really stupid.
But check this out. Give part 3. So Don Mancini, basically the gatekeeper to Chucky, he's written everything Chucky since the first movie.
Chill, I'm like 2 episodes behind.
So no, I won't mention the show. Oh my goodness, that show has no business to be as good as it is. But
You
anyway,
mean the Chucky series, right?
the Chucky series, yeah.
On
All
Peacock.
right, you know what? I think on Black Friday, if it's available, because I've seen it at Best Buy, I might just go buy season 1 and then just.
If you're a Chucky, like it's not even like you're going to love the show. Like it's not. Like, well, this is fun. Like it's better than a lot of the movies, and it also ties to all movies. All of it.
And it's not, and it's just good, even if you. But no, Child's Play 3. So a couple of things. So Don Mancini, he's a genius in recycling ideas. So the cult of Chucky idea was actually born of Child's Play 3. The original idea was from part 2 in the factory when they picked up the blown up Chucky and the blood gets into the vat of wax. That was supposed to create multiple Chuckies.
Word.
Yeah.
But they couldn't afford it. They said it was too big a budget. So he kept the idea and then brought it back around. But anyway.
Tracking shot that we're going to do, and that's going to take off all our budget.
Right. It just, that $5 million shot just did it.
Hey, but the love interest went on to play Ari's wife in Entourage, and she's fine.
That is her.
Perry Reeves.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Perry Reeves. She was hot.
Oh, yeah, she is. But another thing, Child's Play 3, love it or hate it. Love it or hate it. Child's Play 3 was basically born the quipping Chucky, the smart remark Chucky. Because think about it, he really didn't do that much in part 2. And he probably, like, part 1, like, what an ugly doll. Fuck you. But part 3, he's just full on, like, going into, like, what happened with Freddy in the later movies. He turned into comedian mode. Like, Chucky's gonna be a bro. And all that, and all the one line. Like, don't fuck with the Chuck. And he's just all these lines. But it's one thing, and I'm going to give y'all the mic. When they were in the fun house at the end of part 3, it's one part that me and my siblings trip on because it's so funny. So when he's chasing Tyler gets his foot caught. And then Chucky pops up and he's climbing with the gun and he's like, yeah. He's like, I got it. It's so stupid. But it's like, I got you. Yeah, you're mine now, Tyler.
Like 3 dumber than part 1 and part 2. But it's almost like part 1 and part 2 have no business being as good as they are when you read on paper.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's a killer doll. It's like he's a doll. It's like, well, he was a guy, but he transferred his soul into the doll with a voodoo spell. And it's like, that's so much dumber than if he was just a doll. And it's like the fact that they're good as they are.
The soul.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I like 3. 3's better than Seed.
Y'all some cowards.
Yeah.
Y'all some cowards.
No.
Y'all some cowards.
Oh, man.
I don't love it, but like I like it. I don't really hate. There's probably has the most consistent. I think we've said this before, like maybe Chucky and Scream, but for Chucky to have been going on for like 35 years,
and into the TV show, that's the only weakness that Scream has.
And like none of them really suck.
The Scream, like the MTV Scream show, isn't continuity with the movies, which is like another knock against it compared to Child's Play. But the first 2 seasons are watchable if they're not good. The Scream season 3 on VH1 was absolute dog shit.
I didn't. I watched the first episode of the show, and I was like, nope.
Damn.
I've never seen any of them because I heard they weren't that good.
They changed the mask. They changed the lore. They have Bella Thorne as the Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, and
it's fine.
I did the same thing with the. I know what you did last.
I was about to bring that up.
Watched two, and I called. There's like a little. It's the formula is kind of the same, but there's a twist to it. And anybody with two brain stems that you have to rub together is going to catch on to that twist. It's like Malignant for me, and I guess no one else. But I'm like, when you think about it, this is going to be what happens, and that's going to set the thing in motion. And that is what happened, and I was like, called that. And then I was like, I don't have time. I don't have time for this. Like, if a show's not good, it doesn't grab me, I'm like, I don't have time for this. I'd rather just watch the movies.
So since Prime ruined I Know What You Did Last Summer, they're probably going to ruin Sausage Party.
I will say this. I know Nick brought one of his slasher icons in Leatherface, right?
Oh,
it's funny how
the
Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise doesn't get much love in that sense. Like, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of that franchise, but I prefer the remake, the one with like Jessica Biel and Eric Balfour, over the original. What the original does have though is you feel dirty.
Rocket's my new number
after
2.
You watch it, I gotta like take a shower in Clorox because it just feels. It's like it's not as gory as you think it was. Like when you go back and rewatch it, it's not really. It just has that dirty feel to it.
Yeah.
It's like not even as gory as like Jaws. Like it's really.
It's kind of like the original Chainsaw is kind of Halloween when you're talking about blood. It's not that bloody.
It's not bloody hardly at all.
What makes it creepy and dirty and unsettling is that family dinner and the tight shots and the fucking angles, the camera work on what's her fucking name? Marilyn Burns or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Sally.
Yeah.
But other than like, wait, Rocket, you done? Like, I'm about to go on a tangent.
But don't. Hey,
he's there.
I'm about to go on. I don't want to cut nobody off because I'm about to go for minutes.
Well, Randy hasn't watched the new one yet.
No.
I feel like we all have, and it is kind of like a legacy sequel to the original. So I don't want us to get talking and then like spoil the new one for Randy because he's watching it tonight. I think
tomorrow. I watched the Lionsgate prequel this morning. So
pretty okay movie if it wasn't Leatherface. If it was anything else, it would have been like, oh, well, that was fine.
Yeah. But, spoilers for this whole franchise incoming, except the new one that I haven't watched yet because I'm the host and I'll fire you if you spoil this shit for a movie I know I'm probably not gonna like. After 10 years, Tobe Hooper, like I give Texas Chainsaw 2 the respect the original director wanted to come and inject more comedy. Shit's not funny. Chop Top was annoying as fuck.
No.
Annoying as fuck.
No.
I dug the final girl, but like Leatherface as a character, like I feel like I'm about to wipe my ass with Nick's list because he's the only one that had Leatherface. Leatherface just isn't this force the way Jason or Michael or Ghostface or Chucky. He's a minion of this family, which I feel like knocks points off. Multiple movies make it look like he's got some kind of like emotional soul. Multiple movies, and like he's crushing on the chick in the second one. Every movie has like new family members, so like it feels like they're retconning every new movie. Rocket, yes, 1000% spot on. The New Line remake and the prequel are better than practically every movie except the original.
I said, not the original. I'll give you the other one.
I don't know what the fuck Lionsgate is doing, bro. Like Texas Chainsaw 3D, retcons 2, which was retconned by Leatherface 3, which was retconned by the Matthew McConaughey one, who gives the best performance in this whole franchise. And Alexandra Daddario is supposed to be this baby that was found in 74, right? but it takes place in 2011, right? But she's like 20 years old.
Yeah.
And then after Leatherface, who, spoiler alert, is her fucking cousin, massacres her whole fucking friends. Trey Songz, who like I knew was gonna fuck the best friend, like the best friend wanted Trey Songz from the get go. Like she's slutty, and they like the barn. I was like, all these characters are shitty, so they're gonna fuck. Alexandra Daddario is just fine. Like this is my cousin, so I'm fully in agreement with him killing everyone, because she straight didn't notice. She had no pants on. He had no shirt on. There's not time. Like, this is just a scene that has no payoff. Like, her boyfriend or her best friend are gonna fuck behind her back, but there's gonna be no resolution from that, because it's just in there for mindless subplot. Because we need a sex scene with, forgive me, I'm a pervert, no nudity, and like.
Then they die. He dies in a car wreck. Like after the whole movie, they wreck the van, and it's like, oh, Trey Songz.
Yeah. But she was just okay with all of her friends dying because that's her cousin. And he kind of had like this emotional reaction, like he knows who you are. And then once Leatherface realizes that's my baby cousin that's supposed to be 40 something but is 20 something because we didn't pay attention to the timeline. When it started, I saw CDs. I was like, okay, maybe this does take place in the 90s. No, 2011, according to Wikipedia. Which could be fake now that I'm thinking about it, but Texas Chainsaw 3D's trash. And then like Leatherface had like, and it had the tone. The tone was right, but the execution and the attention to detail was non-existent. And then like Leatherface was fine. Like the prequel was fine. We all seen this one?
Yeah.
Okay, like the swerve of like the big husky dude not talking. Like maybe that's him. But then they're calling this skinnier dude like Jed or Jedediah, whatever the fuck. That was cool. Cause like he was talking. And then they give a cool setup as to why he ended up being Leatherface. Like he gets like fucking mangled. And then they stitch his face together. Like that was fine. And Stephen Dorff, my man, Stephen Dorff, did this movie while having the nerve to slander Queen Scarlett Johansson.
Mm-hmm. I remember being like, like Lily Taylor and Stephen Dorff like give pretty good performances.
Yeah.
And like, dude is like good, but I'm like, why was he? You're telling me he was normal? He completely normal. Even in like the psych ward where he was the normal guy. Like we're like, oh, that's just Mouse Eater Rick. He eats. Like you'll get to know him. He was like the normal guy. I'm like, he's Leatherface? Why? Like, I just remember by the end, I was like, no, this is dumb. Like, it needs to be something else. No. All the way up to the end, I was like, this is okay.
And it's like, and when he's in the asylum and shit, they do the little time jump. Because, like, he, like, initially, doesn't want to kill the guy at the very beginning. And they like, feed him, like, birthday cake liver. Yeah, he's like 18, like bro, like we're all pretty much how we're gonna be as adults by the time we're in our late teens. So like, he went from this kind of like skinny and lanky dude to like a gargantuan fucking fat boy.
And I'm like, this is Leatherface. Everybody, you know, Chainsaw Massacre, the original, no matter what timeline you're talking about, or whatever, that movie happened. It's like Halloween. It's like we're not retconning the whole thing. So it's like that's the prequel to that. Like he goes from normal
and that's it.
Like,
we didn't need Leatherface. It was like just to like not lose the rights or whatever we're calling it.
Yeah,
the original
comedy Michael Myers.
The way the original's with the kids, and then you got Nubbins or whatever we're calling him doing like his weirdo shit in the van. And then, like, we don't get Leatherface until, like, literally halfway through the movie. Like, that shit was cool execution.
Yeah, that's got to be, like, I want to say that's the best slasher, like, entrance. It might be the best.
It might be.
Because it just comes out, it's like, oh, fuck you. It just takes her, closes the door. It's like, oh. I remember the first time I ever saw that. I was like, oh, okay. He didn't, like, come out, like, with music and shit, like Psycho. Like, oh, he just came out and closed the door, and that was it. Like, that's so much scarier.
And that motherfucker love hitting somebody over the head with a mallet.
Ow!
And that shit too. I hate how often the sequels just like lifted shit from the first movie. The end of 2, and like that's like Toe Hooper like not being creative or slipping or whatever. He's doing the exact same ending to 2 that he did in 1. And then there's always the decoy Viggo Mortensen character that sets up the attack, and Joe Grizzly was dope. I'm Joe Grizzly, bitch.
I do like the remake as far as that like trend of remakes. Yeah, it was probably the best one because it felt different enough that it was like, okay, they're doing something new with it, but they also like hit all the necessary things that they had to do. But I thought the difference in like the Hitchhiker was good. Like I was like, if they'd have just done the same thing, it'd have probably been over the top, and they'd meet some new guy.
That shot after she shoots herself fucks me up.
Yeah, they pick up.
Yeah, that's good filmmaking.
Yeah.
And the beginning actually had continuity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the beginning, like, I get, like, what I call a good film. No, not really, but it's better than its reputation. People act like it sucks. And I'm like, it's an okay enough prequel to that. And I remember thinking, you know, you would think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there would be, like, nonstop, like, gnarly violence. And there really isn't that many memorable things throughout the franchise. But I remember Matt Bomer being, like, strapped to the thing, and what's her name, Jordana Brewster, was like under the table, and Leatherface kind of going to town on him, even though you don't really see it. You see enough of it. Him just like going to town on him while he was like on the table. I remember being like, "Oh, that's gnarly!" Like, "Oh no!" Like, I don't get that from every entry in that series, and so that's why, to me, in my head, I'm like, it's a little better than it's given credit for. Then he cut his face off.
But like this.
Oh man.
This franchise lost me in the next, was it the new generation or the next generation?
Yeah.
When he's a transvestite, and it was with Matthew McConaughey. Remember, not at the time, but you got the two, Renee Zellweger, Matthew McConaughey, who are Academy Award winners now. They want that movie off their like filmography. That's how bad it was. Like, I know when they did, I read an article and I saw a little something on it where when they were promoting it, they didn't even want their names on the poster.
Nah.
That's how bad.
If I've seen,
I think it's more so embarrassment that they're a part of the series. Because the movie, it's nowhere near the most terrible movie you will ever see. It's just that they must have gave him a nice paycheck. But like Randy said, good actors are good actors, and Matthew McConaughey knew
fully
what
committed.
He was in.
Read the script, was like, I can do this. It wasn't just like, I read this.
It trips me out how after Dazed and Confused, he was in that piece of shit.
Yeah. I want to check and see if it was actually filmed before.
Yeah,
because they could still release.
I know that they did a limited release in '95. I consider it a '95 release. And then they re-released it in '97 after like Jerry Maguire and A Time to Kill, Contact, and shit like that. Yeah. But Dazed and Confused was '94, so I have no idea when they actually filmed the return of the next generation of. Yeah, if I've seen 8 of these 9 movies, I think they've teased him like adapting the personality of whatever face he's wearing in at least half of them. So
there's a scene, The Next Generation, that I always think of. People are like, these are great actors. There's like a scene with Renee Zellweger. I always forget the context because it's not a movie I watch very often. It's like Leatherface is like fucking with her. Like he's like doing something, like he's playing with her hair or something. And instead of acting, like instead of like doing something, she's like, stop, no, stop. And I think of that all the time. I'm like, dude, she was like not even like she was just like. There had to have been a point making that movie where she was like, "This sucks."
That was an outtake where the guy playing Leatherface was messing with her, and they just left it in.
Yeah, but there are some performances that I'm like, they didn't even tell them direct. Like, if you ever seen Fright Night, it's not a slash. It's a vampire movie. I guess it could kind of be a side, but it's a vampire movie. Dude that plays Evil Ed in Fright Night, awesome. I stand by that he was given no direction with this. Like, they were like, let him do whatever. Like, as long as he gets his lines.
But he was great.
He's like, he says, "Where are you going, Needle Dick?" And he goes,
yeah, he puts his hand.
He just
didn't he do the movie 976 Evil? I think he was in that one too.
Yeah. Directed by Robert Englund.
That dude got no career like to act. Like they were just like,
that's funny, hilarious. You remember that part, Dick?
You're like, oh, I'm going home.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But speaking of which, connected. So Don Mancini, going back to him for a second, he wrote the initial idea called Blood Brothers. So his original idea was the subconscious of Andy was supposed to go into the doll. He literally cut his hand and touched the doll or whatever, and the subconscious somehow went into the doll, and the doll would kill people who wronged him, like his dentists, his teachers. So
same way as Michael and Corey.
Credit to Tom Holland, who actually came up with the voodoo doll, the serial killer possessing a doll with voodoo.
Yeah. Spider-Man?
And that was actually, not that Tom Holland. So Tom Holland, who directed Fright Night and Child's Play, and shout out to him for Brad Dourif, because Brad Dourif is in a little-known movie directed by Tom Holland called Fatal Beauty with Whoopi Goldberg, and Brad Dourif was the villain.
Brad Dourif. Academy Award nominated actor Brad Dourif.
Yep, from was it One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Moon? Cuckoo's Moon.
Cuckoo's Moon.
Cuckoo's Nest. But I want to go back to this.
Oh, the A24 audience isn't listening to this one.
Mm-hmm. I don't think any of us have mentioned this. And I'm going straight to this. So at the oldest, Corey is 22 years old. Why is he letting these 16, 15-year-old high school kids pick on him?
And they're fucking with like children that are on like the band.
I just came out of left field with that, but I had to.
Nah, bro, the transference of subconsciousness just by touching, like we're still on track.
No. Even within serial killer mode, they were fucking with him. Like he was walking along the bridge. They're like, "Oh, look who it is!" And I'm like, "Dude, I'll throw you off the bridge."
It's
like,
because these kids, because the actors who play the kids are no older than 17, so they got to be like sophomores or juniors at the oldest.
Yeah.
And we know how old Corey is because in 2019, when the accident happened, he's talking about going to college.
Yeah.
So he's 18 or 19. So 3 years later, he's either 21 or 22.
No, he says in the flashback when he's babysitting the kid, he says, "I'm not scared of movies. I'm 21 years old."
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's an adult by the time we get to the.
So he's 24 then.
Yeah, he's at 24, 20. Like he's a grown man.
Bing bong, bing bong.
my only thing about it is maybe he knows that he can't do anything because of what happened. So he has that history where he went to jail, he was accused of this.
And because of what happened, I would use that and I beat the shit out of
No, I agree. But I'm just thinking, maybe they want us to like. This is why he's not doing this. Me, after I would have killed those guys the first time, and they would have messed with me at the.
That's just more shit writing.
Exactly.
That's just more shit writing. Like, I'm in a small town. I'm in a small town. Mm-hmm. If there was somebody in this town that is accused of, or there's a rumor of, hey, they killed a fucking kid, they're a crazy psychopath, I'm not going 50 yards within that person.
Yeah, you're not gonna mess with them.
They have to buy them beer, and they're like, "Oh, you know who this is?"
Yeah,
right.
And I'm like, "Yeah, the guy who murdered the child." Yeah.
Yes, and now y'all want to mess with him.
He's holding, and he's holding a glass bottle. So, like, why wouldn't he break the bottle and fuck us up?
Yeah.
Like, but also, it's like the guy who looks kind of like he murdered a kid one time. Like, it's not like he just looks like a dude. It's like, oh yeah, you are the guy that murdered that kid. Never mind. Yeah. I'll get my own beer.
That's not Corey. That's Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Hey,
but
how we got here? Like, I thought that immediately. I was like, why don't you just fucking break their legs and then go hang out with Michael in the cave? Like he was on it.
So I don't know. No, I do know the name. So on Twitter is such a interesting place,
Circus.
especially after a certain acquisition. But that's a whole nother podcast.
It's a circus.
But
Twitter is a circus.
So Rowan Campbell is the actor who plays Corey. I can't tell if these people are trolling,
bro. Look, I'm gonna say this. I don't know how y'all feel.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rowan Campbell. He took a job and he did how he was directed.
Yes.
We're bashing the writing in the movie and the character, not the actor.
That's what I was getting to. And I hope this doesn't affect
my
his
bad.
career because
I hope your toes
it's
feel
not
okay.
his fault. Nah.
I think he played it well, but my whole thing is this, like you're saying, Eric, and
he did a job.
He did a job, but also, if you can suplex Michael Myers in the tunnel, you shouldn't let high school kids. He walked away like, God damn it!
Dude, this is Rocket's MVP episode. Rocky been flexing all episode.
He's straight Brock Lesnar.
I was like, huh? And then he took
by
the
God,
that
by God, we
like,
got a slobber knocker. Corey put Michael Myers in the F5.
No, man.
Seriously, he walked in, Jimmy, and Michael's just like, damn it. Like, he stood up, like, huh?
But I can't wait till next year. Even as soon as next year, I really want to see how this movie ages.
Fuck. I just thought the behind the scenes logic of Michael choking him and not killing him was we as viewers failed to not understand that Michael was in a weakened state.
Man, I call BS on that.
I do too.
BS on that.
It's crappy.
Because
it's crappy filmmaking.
All four of those writers fucked up.
Including this one, out of 13 movies, throughout the whole franchise, we've seen him be shot, burned to a crisp, stabbed, cut, and yet in ends and kills, he gets beat up with pipes and all that, and that's going to linger for 4 years?
And an iron.
4 years? Like, come on. Like I said, he's the guy in the original sequel, Halloween 2, was burned.
Let's smash
Somehow
his face
he came
with
back
an
to life
iron.
in the Thor trip. But I mean, come on. He was decapitated in H2O.
He was even so strong that he was in Season of the Witch on a TV.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, man.
Weeks ago, and I still feel like it's so fresh, but it's like, my feeling is, I've kept this for 2 weeks now. It's like, if you like it, that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
You're wrong, and I hate you, but like, that's fine. But it's like, people aren't just liking it. Like, say what you will about Halloween Ends, I actually was really entertained by it. It's like, I was entertained by it. That's not my problem with the movie. But it's like, people are acting like, if you didn't like it, not only are you wrong, but it's like, I'm gonna, the dumbest fucking reason you've ever heard of why you're wrong. And it's like, no. It's like, it's not that we like Michael Myers so much. It's like, most people didn't think Kills was anything to write home about. At least compared to 2018, most people were like, "Hey, Kills wasn't that good." But it's like, that's not what. I wasn't going in here expecting the best movie I've ever seen. I was expecting Halloween to end the way that they teed it up to end with.
Look, guys. Before we take this last break, guys, we as the consumer were wrong, guys, because we expected a movie that the trailers marketed to us, guys. The trailers put false expectations in our head, and. One last pee break, fuckers. Yo, the entire time I was on break, they were still ranting about Halloween Ends. It sucks. So, I don't know, should we start this last batch of, like, what's, like, the worst sequel of any slasher franchise? Like, let's go franchise by franchise. Like, what's the most trash sequel that every slasher has?
Oh, man.
So, other than Halloween Ends, it's Resurrection.
It is Resurrection.
Oh, man.
And we just blow past that.
It's Resurrection because Rob Zombie's remake is like a separate thing, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like its own universe.
I'll accept the curse of Michael Myers.
The curse is the worst Michael Myers because it's boring. Resurrection is a lot of things, but it isn't boring.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Do you know how many times tomorrow? You know how many times tomorrow kids are gonna walk up to a house and say, "Trick or treat,
Trick or
motherfucker."
Motherfucker. Nobody is gonna do the Paul Rudd like I was only a boy when I saw him. Nobody's that.
Well, it's funny you use that reference, Randy. Would we consider Sam from the movie Trick or Treat a slasher? Because technically, with all the little toys going around, when it comes to slashers, they always sell Sam, Jason, Freddy, and you see Michael Myers in that area.
Let that sequel actually come out.
Creature himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I love Trick or Treat the movie. So Sam himself is basically like a gatekeeper of the spirit of Halloween within the movie, but he doesn't actually kill anyone, right?
Ooh.
Well, because he tried.
Ooh.
Well, yeah, that's true. But in the movie, did he?
Yeah.
He fucks with what's his name a lot.
Brian Cox.
But
he kills Brian. Yeah, he fucks with him. He did a job on him, but he killed Leslie Bibb in the opening.
Right. That's true. That's true. Yeah,
She's
and that's
not
what
really
it is about the because she wasn't into Halloween. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember how too. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're not thinking of her.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this is like, it's definitely horror. It's definitely a Halloween movie because it's in a Halloween anthology, which I love anthologies. But
yeah, and that's real well done when it connected all together.
Yeah.
And Shelby and I, we just went to see it on Friday in the theaters. That was
nice.
That was a cool experience. That was a cool experience seeing it.
And given the fact that the movie went straight to video, which was just terrible.
Yeah.
And if you're looking back into that whole story, why the movie went straight to DVD, it had nothing to do with the quality of it, obviously, because it's good. But it's just a bunch of knuckleheads and politics behind the scenes that the reason they dumped the movie.
It was 100 good because I remember my DVD for the movie 300.
Yes.
15 years ago.
I already know what you're saying.
It said sneak peek, trick or treat, and I was like, okay. And I remember watching it, thinking like, okay, that looks cool. And then it was like 2 years before I ever even heard about it, and it was like,
it just disappeared, and then it's on. But I was lucky enough to also see it in theaters for the very first time in 2014, and it was a 24-hour movie marathon, and I think it was the one of what's his name? Doug Jones was there as a special guest because they screened Pan's Labyrinth also. So that was a great night.
It's funny with Trick or Treat. It was like by a clear mistake. Like we were doing a little Halloween party with my roommates and all that when we were at the time here in Minnesota. And next thing I know, it's like, all right, what are some Halloween movies besides Halloween that's something different? And I remember it was at an end cap. It was at the end cap at a Best Buy, and I think it was like for like Halloween. It said Halloween movies for under $10. I was like, oh, let's see it. And it, like some of it was like mainstream stuff, and some was like, I was like, Trick or Treat, what is this? And then when I turned around, I saw Brian Cox, Anna Paquin, Leslie
awesome
Bibb.
cast. Yeah.
And Leslie Bibb was in the first Iron Man. That's what made me recognize it. You know, Leslie. I'm like, and then I see more people that I recognize. I'm like, damn, how was this not? How did I not know about this movie?
Mm-hmm. Same thing.
So I just bought it as a blind, and this thing turned out to be fantastic.
Another example of the cult classic that I was talking about, I think we were not recording, but I said, you know, that movie got a dick for a release, and like it was like it didn't make any money, and like nobody saw it. But everyone that saw it was like, was that the best movie I've ever seen? And it was like, maybe watch it again. And then over time, it was like, it's kind of like a classic. Like it's like, oh, everybody knows.
And they've been talking about a sequel. They've been talking about doing a sequel for years. What I'm hoping is this:
with Daughtry.
Keep it at that same, keep it at that budget. Hopefully, Blumhouse could pick something like this up. Keep it as a low budget type thing. Give it that feel, because you don't want it to be like something mainstream. And now you get all this money. Now you're trying to make it something what it's not.
Yeah, take the essence away from it.
Okay, look. Leprechaun's been to space. Jason's been to space. How come Leatherface or Jigsaw, Freddy, where are their space adventures?
And don't forget Pinhead.
Yeah. Pinhead totally went to space. That sucked too.
I was going to say, Nick knows all about that.
That sucked too. You want to talk about who has the worst sequels? that guy.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Like, the Leprechaun sequels suck. Like, they're probably
funny.
But at the very least, they all feel like they were written to be Leprechauns, except for the Origins one.
Yeah.
They all kind of like, well, yeah, Leprechaun in the Hood, like that's what he did.
That's hilarious.
So many of the Pinhead movies were just clearly written to be something else, and they were like, let's shoehorn Pinhead in there somewhere. Or it's like they're all intrigued by this MacGuffin, and they're like, well, what if the MacGuffin is just the box, and we just say fuck it? It's like, okay,
that's
easy mill.
exactly.
But anyway, yeah, he's got.
I feel like that Hellraiser franchise, with that first one, was unique and crazy and wild. They had something there, and they just didn't know what to do with it going forward. Like Pinhead became an instant icon, and they just didn't know what to do with the character or these movies.
I'll give you the first. I'll maybe even give you the first three, because like first Hellraiser was great. Two
it was good. Yeah,
good, but three it feels like a sequel.
Three. Yeah, you recently watched it, right, Nick? Out of the most recent.
He recently watched all 27 of these movies.
1, 2, 3. Unfortunately, those sequels, they even got one with the Allstate guy with the Mayhem dude. But,
and that's nothing to do with Hellraiser. Like,
man,
the movie before they even start hinting that like Pinhead is the reason you have headaches or whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
like,
it was a different movie before they shoehorned him in. But 1, 2, 3.
Sex scripts.
Y'all don't really.
Pinhead was a very specific thing in 1 and 2, and here's this for a kicker: his name wasn't Pinhead.
We playing soccer.
No. It's like
it was lead Cenobite.
Yeah.
Teeth chatter Cenobite, fat Cenobite, and so Clive Barker was involved in part 2. He actually hired the director who did part 2, but part 3 is when Pinhead is. I think that's when he actually gets the name. Is when he becomes like slasher material.
Yeah.
Because if you in the first and second one, he's kind of Yeah,
3 sucked.
And he comes in, and the first and the second one, he's kind of like he tries to entice the person to use the box. He's kind of like on an even plane. He's not coming just to kill you when he shows up. He's trying to
use something called and now we're here. And it's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Chucky chasing kids around.
But yeah, it's very, the third one and, what's the fourth one? It's Bloodline.
Fourth one was with the space one. And that, to me, even though it was theatrical, was still the worst one. Because is unimaginably stupid.
I think it's Rick Boda. It was just so much studio interference. He wanted to take his name. He wanted to Alan Smithy the director's credit, because they changed it. They filmed stuff behind his back. They put it together. It was just all over the place. And then like every other Hellraiser movie after that was started out as one thing, and then they just shoehorned.
And they were bad, but it was like, the one where it was like in space, like it went to the past and it went to the future.
Yeah.
I was like, this sucks. This is shit from a butt. Like, this is so...
That sounds disgusting.
Were like clearly spec scripts that started out as like, I don't know, so many of them feel like Law and Order type episodes. Like, I can't really explain it, but so many of them feel like it's like two cops.
Yeah.
We look into the case, and it's like, well, I haven't been sleeping, and it's like,
Yeah.
You know,
because it was one, the one with Craig Sheffer. That's the one. And he's a corrupt cop, and then
they're all bad. It was like one after another. It was like, wow. Where Doug Bradley read all these and was like,
yeah, sure.
How much money?
Money talk. But then they got to
because Now go ahead.
Revelations.
Yeah.
And Doug Bradley even read that and was like, nope, fuck this. Yeah. Nope.
And he said specifically, he's like, I can't even buy a decent refrigerator with what they offer me.
Nope. That, like a $5 budget. These two dudes were supposed to go to Mexico. And the entire time they're in Mexico, they're in like one room. Like they're in like a bar. that's the budget. Like, instead of being that, like, we're in Tijuana, they're in the corner of a bar with like 2 other tables of extras and the bathroom of whatever this bar. That's the only footage we get to prove that like they were in Mexico. It's like a girl speaks a little bit of Spanish. And they're like, Mexico. And I'm like, and then the rest of the movie takes place at a house. But the only thing I can say about that one is that it was written as a Hellraiser movie.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Kind of clear that it was, but the budget is $3, and even the dude that
but that was a rights movie. They needed to make one to keep the rights.
Yep.
Right, yeah.
It's so obvious that it was that. Anyway,
All right.
Judge a little better. If you ever look up Hellraiser Judgment, it's a little better considering that it's still like $3. It's a
But
little.
you know what? So yeah, it's hard to even choose one from the Hellraiser series because the direct-to-video ones are just all so bad.
So many more bad ones than good ones.
Yeah.
Even the new one was that good. If I'm being real honest with you,
it has the potential to get better because it's not terrible. It wasn't like, yes, Pinhead is back and the Hellraiser's back. It wasn't that.
Yeah, it still didn't. I was like, man, this wasn't what Hellraiser wasn't.
Yeah.
Slasher guy, really, it kind of evolved into that because he was Pinhead, the icon. I was like, Hellraiser 1 is not a slasher movie, like, at all. Really?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's that people, they get this idea of what Pinhead is, and Pinhead isn't exactly that. It's just,
like you said, they picked Pinhead the name, kind of like they did Star Wars back in the day, before they gave everyone names. It's like the action figures would come out and they're like, this is Snaggletooth. This is Head. This is Butt Cheeks. And it was like, this
But you know what the interesting is, we always talk about Halloween series, but we mentioned this I want to talk about with Randy.
What's happening?
Not Friday. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Hey.
And I think part four is the Dream
Masters.
Master.
No,
Master.
the Dream. Dream Master.
Yeah.
Because part 3 is Dream Warriors.
Yeah.
I love that we know that. Like, we're like, that was.
Well, Dream Masters pisses me off though a little bit because
the beginning that they get rid of.
These, like in Dream Warriors, these characters survive this.
Yeah,
just to
Joey,
kill them off.
Kincaid, Christian.
Just to kill them off. What, the first 20 minutes of the next, like that made no sense. Like, I'm like, just let them survive.
Is that the Rennie Harlan one?
They go somewhere.
That's the Rennie Harlan one. Yeah. Let me tell you this. Probably 2019, I went to 24-hour movie marathon, one I always went to. They showed this movie here, and Tuesday night, the actress who replaced
Patricia Arquette
from the third one was there, and she actually sings the theme song to this movie, and she sang it at this event I was at.
That's neat.
It was interesting. But anyway, like Rocket said, and of course they didn't just kill him; they had to kill Kincaid first because the brother got it that first. But but the crazy thing is these are cool sequences that they get killed in, like the waterbed sequence.
They're not.
Yeah.
And the junkyard, and when the camera goes up and the whole world is the junkyard. And he was like,
I mean, the Dream Master that like no one ever talks about, but I always notice it every time I watch it.
Oh no!
At the funeral, and like her boyfriend, like they're sitting there having this like serious talk, and then he runs away. He runs away so funny. Like, I was like, now was he directed to run? Like, you have to watch.
I know the saying.
You'll know what I'm talking about. He like runs.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, did that on purpose?
Yeah. You're talking about the scene. Her boyfriend is talking. And you're like, this Christian story is really getting to her. Like, I don't think it's a story. And he runs away.
The story. Like Napoleon Dynamite, like runs away.
So y'all are like, what the hell are y'all talking about? No, because we trip on that every time we see it.
It's been a few years for me.
But a nitpick, not a nitpick, a little tidbit. So him, the brother, the scene, this is crazy to even think about it. Like, Freddy is literally not in the scene where he kills somebody.
Yeah.
Remember when he was he's on the elevator and he gets out the elevator because he knew karate and he's fighting Invisible Freddy?
Yeah.
You're like, find your balance, Rick. and he's not. Randy, you having a hard time remembering?
I am blanking.
Really? Y'all know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So the thing is, they literally, I think Rennie Harlan and the actor talk about that scene. The original scripted scene. So he's in an elevator, right, and it starts going on fast. And the original scripted scene was he was supposed to be on an elevator, and bits and pieces of the elevator start to fall apart. Then the bottom starts to bottom out, and then the entire elevator falls out. You start to see he's just like in a void of space. And then the elevator breaks apart, and he's supposed to like burn up in the void of space. And that was the original.
That would have been dope.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. That's the original. What do you call it when you draw it and all that? Storyboard.
Yeah. Storyboard. Yep.
So they literally like
New Line
his death scene was at the last minute because they filmed the funeral scene where she has the vision of him getting out the casket, and he was like, "Hello, baby." That scene, and he's like, "It was a big trick to fool Freddy." And they realized they were shooting it so fast. They realized that, like, oh man, we didn't kill you yet. The actor, his character, Rick was his name, and they like at the last minute, they're like, "Oh, Rick's like karate." They went and dressed the scene up in like 2 hours, and they just killed him because they couldn't get Robert Englund, so they made it like he was invisible.
Yeah. Jesus.
Wow, that's great. Like I know, Eric, you've been telling me, like I said, I saw like the documentary of like, you know, the Camp Crystal Lake when the memoirs of Camp Crystal Lake. I gotta see the Never Sleep Again one. That's about Nightmare on Elm Street. That's the one I want to see.
Yes, it's a fantastic. It's 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. The main thing, if you could get your hand on a DVD, the DVD has a special disc. It's even more stuff. It's so hard to find, and I think it's out of print. But no, to answer Randy's question, it's the fifth one. Nick says he likes the fourth and the fifth one the same. The fifth one is just, it's not bad. It's just so bizarre.
Dream Child is a fall off.
Yeah, like the bizarreness and like the kind of goth like overtones. Puts it on the plane for me.
Yeah. But who made that? Stephen Hopkins.
Stephen Hopkins. Shout out Stephen Hopkins.
Yeah. Because I love the creative death scenes.
Yeah.
The comic book superhero sequence is one of my favorite in the whole franchise.
Yeah. See? See?
Even
Ed has a couple like fun sequences. It just sucks. Like
it's really
Freddy's Dead is so trash.
It's mean. Like one of the it's weird to say because he's killing these kids in the dreams in all different ways. But I think Part 5 has one of the meanest like death scenes in any of the movies when he's force feeding the girl at the table. God, it's like, and if you look on YouTube, so in the theatrical version of it, which is the version that most people see, there's an uncut version of the scene where he's force feeding her, and he's actually force feeding her from her own stomach.
Oh.
I don't know if you all saw the unrated version of that scene. And it's on YouTube. I'll send y'all the link. But and it will never be on DVD. It'll never be on Blu-ray or 4K. The only way you can see it is on YouTube and the old VHS tape that I still have to this day. Damn. And so the print master, which was owned by one company, got ruined. So they have no master to copy it onto anything else from of the uncut footage. So,
but you got that footage.
Yeah, it's on VHS.
Them a call and be like, for a good price.
You can get the tape anywhere on eBay or whatever. It's not rare or anything. It's just that the quality won't be there because they're not gonna. I think they can. I don't know why they wouldn't try. I probably just don't care. But
anyway,
tracking
button.
Like,
oh wow.
I just sent you guys something on Instagram. I know Eric would appreciate that.
Oh, what's that?
Let me see.
It's pretty. That steelbook?
But yeah,
of the Dream Child?
No.
No. Oh, they
old. This is Rocket's MVP episode. I love this shit.
God, dog. See, yeah, Shout Factory. I'm glad oh crap, I did buy that on Blu-ray and steelbook. So
I got that's the thing is I got They Live on Blu-ray, but that's the thing is with Shout Factory, like there were these like how upset would people be now that they had so many titles that were out of print on Blu-ray. Now they're re-releasing them on 4K and Blu-ray. That devalues some of these copies that were out of print. Now they're like Army of Darkness. Unless the Shout Factory Army of Darkness one on Blu-ray, you couldn't find anywhere. You had that screwball edition you could find for like $5 anywhere else. I just picked it up on 4K because I didn't have it in my collection.
Yeah,
so it's
there's
like
so many boutique distributors out there now. It's nothing that's gonna be totally like rare or anything because it's just gonna. Yeah. But no. What the heck were we? Did you pick anything, Rocket? Because I brought up that as far as worst movie in the franchise. Because basically for me, I mean, Freddy's Dead is just too easy to name. So
it's just not good.
Yeah,
That's why
it's just
like most of these. It's like, do I hate The Curse of Michael Myers? Not really, but it's not good. It's like, do I hate Jason Goes to Hell? Not particularly, but it's probably the worst one of them.
Oh, I got one.
It's my
last.
Sorry. Jason Goes to Hell is my lowest ranked slasher movie on this list.
So what about? Oh, damn.
Yeah.
So
Jason
what about
Goes to
Friday
Hell?
the 13th? What about Part 5 with the copycat killer Jason?
I like 5. That was the first one I ever saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, weird enough. I remember dude in the outhouse getting stabbed, watching that, and then like looking.
Miguel A. Nunez.
There were 5 of these things, and just being like,
"Was that? Oh yeah, that was Part 5, wasn't it?"
Yeah, he's
out in the outhouse. Like them damn enchiladas.
The legend Miguel A. Nunez, Juana Man.
He had the same look in the that and Return of the Living Dead, right? Yeah, that curly mullet.
Yo, before we got, I want to cap this within like 10 minutes though. So
yeah,
the most recent Scream introduced a term called requel. Did they introduce it? I don't know. They made it popular.
Two terms. I want to talk about this other one: requel and what do they call it? Elevated horror.
Yeah. What's y'all favorite requel? Since we've already established like Texas Chainsaw is most likely the best remake.
Yeah.
So, Halloween H2O kind of started the requel.
Yeah, I guess it'll be that.
If that's the requel, then yeah, I'd probably put that ahead of the new Scream.
Yeah.
But like barely. The new Scream is a little better than I give it credit for. I just don't necessarily think the killer reveal was like the greatest.
Aside from upper body strength. I equate the killer reveal and motivation in the new Scream to like Twitter becoming Ghostface.
Kinda.
We didn't like what you did, so fuck you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's why when we rank the slashers, I think that's why I rank Ghostface as 5 because it's Ghostface, the persona, the costume.
Yeah.
Because it's like all 4 of us could be Ghostface. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter.
I could.
It's just the persona of the costume and the look. So he's known as Ghostface. That's why. If it was just like, say, like the legend of this person, and they were dressed up as Ghostface, now that might rank higher up. But because it's just the costume and the look of it, yeah, Ghostface is technically the killer, but it's anybody who could be Ghostface.
Hey, if Corey can be Michael Myers, then we can all be Michael Myers.
No. I could beat up an old Dave. I don't know if
We're going to be talking about the new Black Panther movie and find a way to bring up Corey.
We not.
Hey, that's the next one. My next 2 is that and Glass Onion. The next Knives Out movie. Those are my top 2. Okay,
good
Daniel
for
Craig
you.
Was great in Glass Onion, but you know what? I hate that damn Corey.
Fuck yes.
Glass Onion was when it turned out to be Corey. But Black Panther, it's to show them who we are, and it's Corey.
And we're not Corey.
All right. How much time we got?
Are we in agreement that H2O is the best requel?
It gotta be, right? I mean, I can't think of any.
And like Scream, a lot of people would talk about like Halloween 2018.
It is.
The only one.
Well,
like,
technically,
I don't think that movie was like that great. Like it was good, but it's not better than H2O or the new Scream.
No. I guess 2018 would be mine.
No.
Yes.
He said no.
Yes.
So how much time we got?
A
Randy?
million times yes, and
Oh, wait, question.
Chainsaw
What's that?
3D is a requel.
Count?
What?
Which one?
Does the new Candyman count as
The
that?
new Candyman is a requel.
Is it? I thought it was technically it's a direct sequel, but it's a well, no, that's right. It does.
If you erase previous movies in the history, then it's a requel.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I thought it was decent. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
No.
I barely give Halloween 2018 the edge, but yeah, Candyman's right there.
Bucks pretty hard, and it's definitely like in that same timeline of the original. So,
Yeah.
I think in that the requel of Candyman, that scene at the art show or at night when they closed that was prime.
Yeah.
No, my scene is my scene filmed in Chicago, by the way. My scene
Ass.
when they pull back from the condo.
Yeah.
It was and
as soon as he leaves.
Man,
that's dope.
As soon as Yahya Abdul-Mateen II leaves and she just gets lifted, yeah.
Man, I don't know what it is. Nice and subtle, not over the top, but
the scene that stayed with me for like a year after I watched it was like when he like had his art show and it was like didn't go that well or something, and like the dude was talking to him and he like laughed and he called it. He was like, "You pretentious ass fuck," or something.
Bro, Candyman 2021 is really good, and that shit needs a fucking sequel.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna age as time goes on. That requel is gonna age better and better.
Yes.
That might take.
Now that's someone that's gonna be not Halloween ends.
Well,
Twitter.
Twitter. Fuck you, Twitter.
Really get it. I feel like that's one that rewards with rewatches. Halloween Ends is still gonna piss me off whenever I rewatch. It'll be like, fuck, here comes Corey.
I'm gonna bring a movie up to close on, slasher or not, because it's on my list, and if y'all say no, I'll probably take it off. American Psycho.
It's like an faded horror slasher, but it's not one.
That's one vote for yes.
Yeah.
Like if somebody was like absolutely not, I'd be like, well, let's relax.
Tell me why it's not.
It kind of is. I think it is.
People like to make these like it is, it's not, but not have anything to back it up.
Yeah.
Like I probably wouldn't put it in my slasher list. I'd probably put it in a different list.
Dude, Christian Bale's holding a knife. What more slasher do you get? You know what I'm saying?
But that's the thing though too. Is like 10 to Midnight.
And
with Charles Bronson.
Patrick Bateman literally fucks.
I mean, pretty much. Pretty much.
I broke him.
10 to Midnight. That guy has a knife running around naked killing girls.
Eric, that was my Sami Zayn.
No, so
Eric,
psychological.
That was my Sami Zayn.
So people
So I don't know. Anyway.
Next October, we could do a whole American Psycho episode because,
right.
to me, personally, it's kind of overrated. But I have so many questions.
Oh no! I mean, given the ending, without spoiling anything,
it's 20 plus years old. Spoil away.
Yeah.
Spoil away, my good man.
So, of course, we've all seen it, right, Ragged?
Mm-hmm.
And given the ending,
I haven't seen
two. They define it as a psychological thriller on the thing.
Yeah.
And given the ending, no matter, depending on what you believe or not, is that he didn't kill anybody. You know? That ambiguous.
Did you get scared?
Yeah, scared. What you
Oh, man.
No, but I thought it's an awesome movie. I love it. And yeah, we can definitely talk about that.
Leo took such an L. I wonder if he ever recovered.
The best part of that movie is when they're passing around their business cards and he gets pissed off because he has a better type of paper. Oh man, I was like, what kind of?
It's good.
Life?
It's good.
And it's just the nuances of the filmmaking. When they flip open the case, it sounds like a sheath with a sword coming out. That's their weapon. I don't know if a lot of people call it that.
No.
You talk about
I got
you see that right there, Randy? That's bone. Look at the lettering.
Precision. I'm sorry. I was distracted by the Bears fumbling.
Ow.
I was gonna close.
Throw this phone over there.
I was gonna close on apologizing to Candyman, but we kind of snuck Candyman in. Y'all hinted at my idea for the next episode, which is lazily just Wakanda Forever spoiler discussion. So come back in 2 weeks for 3 white guys and 1 black guy talking about Black Panther. Rec League. Yo, I be wrecking guys who don't recognize. If I had to specify, you might miss where the lesson lies. Don't even try to hate. My spawn might clown, but they don't ever violate. No matter where I rest my head, I'm holding down my city. I keep the money in the breast pocket, that's my quantity. See, I don't give a fuck, and you feel the rivers. I spit that damn Arctic flow, and it give them all the shivers. And my bars are sophomoric, yeah, you motherfuckers simple. You probably laugh at an exam, but have you had a test tickle? Y'all move wildly, never mind the goals, so go find your friend Charles and play hide the soul. That's child's play, and in a wild way, just take a deep breath and say, I'm okay. Look in the mirror 5 times, say Candyman, and tell Candyman, I could never do what Randy can. And that's cause you give in when they demanding. See, I don't give a fuck. And you Nick Cannon. My lyrics make them nervous. They want all my bars censored. And Dallas getting fucked up. Squad coming in December. And chill until the next episode.